All right, hopefully we're back. Hopefully it's working this time. Close. Now I'm gonna get the new link to the stream. Before I do that, actually. Are you kidding me, YouTube? Hey, it is working this time. Fantastic. Now my. Oh, that's loud. Fantastic. Didn't realize I can hear myself. There we go. Oh, fuck off, YouTube. All right. I'm just gonna get things set up again. Oh, I love technology. Technology doesn't love me. Okay. That's done. Back over here. Cool. Now I need the new link. Delete. It's pretty chilly out here. Okay. Now that's fixed. We should be good to go now. Let's try this from the top again. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 19 of Let's Grab a Beer. In this series, I record and live stream at the same exact time. You're looking at the live stream portion. This is the day after Thanksgiving, so I'm sure a lot of you are fat, happy, and healthy right now. And hopefully, if you're traveling right now, you have a safe travel back to your place of residence or to wherever you were planning to visit for this holiday weekend. In this episode, it's going to be a little different. I think I'm going to break away. I've said this in the last episode. I think I'm going to break away from the hypes, gripes, and mids things that I've been doing lately. But I'm going to stick to grabbing a local beer or a beer that you can't buy just at any grocery store. You either have to order online or go to the state that brews it, or maybe if you're in a state close enough to said state, maybe you can pick it up for yourself just by either crossing the state line, or maybe your state happens to carry that beer in your local grocery stores. And while I record, I go through the topics, which today we're going to be talking about the results of the small creator poll I did on X. And then we'll be discussing Dr. Disrespect officially coming to Rumble. And then we're going to also, then after that, we're going to wrap it up and in line with the season, discuss things that I am grateful for this year and how things went for me this year, and encourage you guys to do the same. Now, normally after I'm done recording, I invite the viewers to come call in if they so choose to call in to either talk about the topics that we discussed today's episode, or they can talk about whatever they feel like talking about. The only thing I'm going to highly encourage today is that you guys also talk about what you're grateful for. Maybe it's something recent, maybe something that happened later in the year that it's something you're holding on to get you through the rest of the year. By all means, I'm definitely going to give my examples. You can follow my example or do your own thing, whatever you want to do. And then after the call-in, I'll shut down and get ready for tonight's stream with the friends. We were discussing earlier what game we're going to play today. And then at the end of the episode, I also, before we do the call-ins, I kind of got out of line on this one, but we give a rating of 1 out of 6 for the beer that is the beer of the episode. 6 because these small brewing companies tend to do 6-packs, not usually larger than 6-packs, sometimes 4, like in this case it's 4. And they're bigger cans, but this is by the Pontoon Brewing Company in Georgia. This beer, I don't know if this is the name of the beer or just the logo they have on the label, but it says we're gonna need a bigger Pontoon. I said Platoon earlier, didn't I? Pontoon Brewing Company, and it's a hazy IPA, which is a New England style IPA with Azaka, El Dorado, and citrus hops. I don't know how that's a New England style IPA. I guess I'm not that familiar with IPAs, nor am I familiar with what's considered a New England style IPA. But, and speaking of which, when I start recording, which I'll let you all know when I'm about to record, which will be shortly after I finish this intro, there will be scrolling text at the top to let you all know I am in fact live, but we are recording, so I don't respond to every single chat while I'm recording. I just respond. If somebody brings up a good point, then I'll bring it up and mention it in the video and give them a shout out. So if you guys don't want to be shout out while I'm recording, don't bring up good points, or just let me know when you send your message you don't want me to mention your name in the video. I mean, it doesn't matter because it's going to be on stream either way, but it is what it is. Some people are still very protective of stuff like that. That deck light should be on. I'm going to go fix that before we start recording. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'll start recording. I'm hoping this will be a shortish episode. I don't plan to get too heavy into the small creator stuff because I kind of covered that on episode 18, as well as Dr. Disrespect. I just want to bring up some points that I've noticed since the announcement, particularly with Rumble creators. It's mostly positive, but there's definitely a decent mix of not so positive outlook on Dr. Disrespect coming to Rumble. Some of it is justified. Some of it is it's disappointment, but not disappointment in the kind of person that Dr. Disrespect, but I guess it's disappointment and they feel like they're being overlooked by Rumble. I'm not sure why, but maybe I'm just an asshole, or maybe I have a more realistic outlook on life. I don't know. Some of you may say me saying that is a asshole statement to make, but it is what it is. I say what I think on my mind and do what I do. But enough rambling on. I'm going to try to get that light to turn on so that way, because the sun's already below my house, so it won't be much longer till it gets pretty dark out here. As you can see, I'm pretty bundled up. I debated about putting my bomber's jacket on. It's supposed to be in the 20s tonight, so it's already it was 50 all day today. Who knows what it is right now? But let me get that light on, and then we'll get into the recording. There is a slight chance that light doesn't work anymore, but we'll see once it gets darker. And it's also a daylight sensing light, so it might be seeing there's too much daylight and it won't kick on. But all right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and put the banner up and start recording. And like I said, I will read your chats. I may not acknowledge them until after the recording is over. But I will, if you guys somebody brings up a good point, I will definitely mention it during the stream and in the recording. And then at the end of the recording, I'll definitely respond to everybody that's in chat. And then we'll go ahead and get started with the episode. So here we go. Oh, well, I got to get the microphone hooked up. Actually did not do that because I broke my last Oh yeah, broke this. I'm not trying to break this one because if I break this one, then I'm out of luck. With a healthy distance from my mouth, so I'm not blowing everybody's eardrums out when in the recording. There is no audio. Oh, did I not turn you on? No, I did not. That would probably help. All right, let's see. It's still booting up. There it goes. There, that's a decent level. We're not going to be blowing anybody's eardrums out today. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Happy belated Thanksgiving to everybody watching this video. I am currently live on this channel that you're all watching this on. The day after Thanksgiving. Wow, my brain just completely cut off right out there. It's turkey brain, I would say. We're gonna, for those who are new to this series, this is Let's Grab a Beer. As you can see, I am grabbing a beer, and we're gonna be discussing different topics of the day of the episode. I'm trying to get the name of the company in there, but that's the beer that we're drinking today. And at the end of the episode, I review said beer, and then I currently live as I'm recording this, and I invite the viewers who are watching to call in almost always. This time I'm not sure because it's Friday afternoon, and usually Friday afternoon I do a stream with the guys on my gaming channel, and we all get into some kind of party game, just have some fun and poop around and screw around with each other. So I don't want to cut into that time, and then my wife should be coming home from work shortly, so I definitely want to be there with her to spend time with her as well when she gets home. And I know she's already frustrated because they keep adding surgeries at our hospital, and she can't go home until the surgeries are done. So it's looking like she probably won't be home till later. So when she does get home, I want to get off. But these videos tend to be unscripted and unedited. The only edit you'll see is when I have to stop recording, and then I have to stop recording because the camera only records in 30-minute intervals, and I can't figure out for the life of me to get it to record longer. I don't know if it's my memory stick that's limiting to me to 30 minutes at a time or what it is. It's not like the GoPro where it cuts, like the GoPro stops every 10 minutes, but it still keeps recording. It just makes 10-minute segments, which is great because it makes it really easy to edit. So I guess 30 minutes isn't too bad if I were getting to editing. And like I said, we're going to go through the topics of the day and discuss and then I'm going to review this beer, give you a 1 out of 6 rating, because usually these small companies, I don't do Budweiser, Coors Light, Sam Adams, or anything like that. I do companies like the Pontoon Brewing Company here in Georgia, and I give it a 1 out of 6 rating because these companies usually come in 6-packs. This case it's a 4-pack, but they're bigger cans, but it's still going to get a 1 out of 6 rating, 6 being the best, 1 being the worst. Although I did Old Toby, and I gave that a 0 because that is absolutely disgusting beer, and I never ever want to see that beer in my sight again. So I will never recommend that beer, but then I will recommend this beer, and my ratings is based off of flavor, refreshingness. Sure, let's go with that. What I think it would pair well with, and if my wife would like it, to give that a little boost too. She's not gonna like this one. She hates IPAs, and I don't blame her. I tend to not like IPAs myself, but sometimes I'll get one that I enjoy. And this one is a New England style IPA with Azacca El Dorado, which I don't know what that is, and Citra hops. And I don't know how Azacca El Dorado makes a New England style IPA. That sounds like a more Southwestern style thing to me, but what do I know? I'm not an IPA expert by any means, and that's another thing. I'm not a beer savant. I'm not going to be like what I can't remember what the people that taste wine for a living and give their notes and hints or talk about what they like and don't like about the wine. And this episode, we're going to be talking about the results of the poll I did on X for the Small Creator Program. I basically asked, based on followers alone, what we consider somebody to be a small creator, and would you consider them if they met the bracket for you would you consider them for the small creator program? I am well aware that to be considered for something like a partner program, it needs to be more than just followers. It's going to be views, average viewers, active chatters, stream engagement, whether it's likes and comments and stuff like that. I understand that that is the right, correct way to go when trying to consider people for a partner program. Um, I was just getting a generic field because almost everybody that was upset about past small creator programs were talking about how many followers they have and they think you shouldn't go above a follower threshold, and they were always focused on followers. So I made my poll focused on followers, and that obviously is not the correct answer. But then we're going to talk about the official news that Dr. Disrespect is in fact coming to Gaming on Rumble, and he will be live or not. I don't know if he's going to be live or uploading, but he'll be making content for Rumble starting December 2nd, which will be Monday. So if you guys are interested, go to Dr. Disrespect on Rumble and you'll find him. You'll have that green Dorito check mark, and he'll have a very fancy layout. And obviously, he'll be the highest followed Dr. Disrespect channel because he's the legit one. There's a bunch of I won't say intimidations. Copycat channels that are trying to milk off the popularity of Dr. Disrespect. So just look out for that, the green Dorito and the check mark, and you'll find the Dr. Disrespect you were looking for. And then the last thing we're going to wrap up with, which I'm hoping will be the majority of the stream, is I'm going to talk about things I'm thankful for this year that I'm very excited for, I'm very happy for, and I thank God for. And when I open it up, if I open up to the viewers to call in, depending how much time I have left after this recording, I will highly encourage whoever calls in. You don't have to discuss the topics that we're talking about, but at least think of one thing you're thankful for, since Thanksgiving was yesterday as of recording this video. If you are watching this later on, by all means, feel free to comment down below what you're thankful for. It could be one thing, it could be 100 things. The more, the merrier. So by all means, comment what you're thankful for and what you look forward to for 2025 as 2024 comes to a close. But without further ado, we're going to go and get into this beer by Pontoon Brewing. I'm not going to lie, I mainly got this beer. Not because I didn't even realize that it was an IPA until I got home because of the Otter, for the Otterman Empire. If the Freedom Otter Show ends up seeing this, I was thinking of you when I picked this beer up. So this is not going to fit into my wicked good pub glass from Maine. Great for sodas, beers, and hot liquors. It is my trusty glass that I use for almost every episode of Let's Grab a Beer. Though coming 2025, that may change because I'm looking to get my own personal mugs made to sell to you guys. So if you want to get yourself some Aircon TV or Let's Grab a Beer merch, oh, this is almost going to fit in there, but it didn't. So we'll have to drink that down. We'll set this up here. The wind's really high, so I don't know if that's gonna be able to stay up there without being knocked over. So first initial impressions. It's not bad. I can taste the citrus. It's definitely an IPA for sure. Not bad at all. It's definitely not a beer I can guzzle. At least not right now with my turkey belly I got going on right now. But without further ado, since we already tried out the beer, and it's actually very refreshing too. Probably not something I should be drinking on a chilly Friday afternoon in the fall as we approach winter. It's a little chilly out here tonight. It's cutting through my pants. My legs are getting chilly. But we're going to go ahead and get into the first topic, which I plan to go through the first two topics pretty quick because I kind of covered this all in episode 18. I don't really need to get into them a whole lot in this episode. But when I have chatters pop off in chat, or if they call in later and they want to throw their input, and we'll discuss further into that from there for the live portion. The reason why I do the recording is I do a lot of before, after, and sometimes in the middle for the live stream. And the live stream can go on to, I think the longest one we had was like 6 hours long. I try to keep the videos less than 2 hours. Ideally, I would like to keep them under an hour. I haven't been very successful with that, but I'm going to continue to strive for that goal. This one should be on track for that. Though I am like the Kamala podcast, I can talk and do a lot of word salad and do a lot of filler words just to keep the stream going. It's just because I like to talk. It's kind of like therapy for me, honestly. That's the kind of why I brought up this format for this podcast. It's like a group of friends hanging out at a bar, after a long day or a long week at work, and they're just chatting about everything and anything that's happening in life. And sometimes it's big news that's happening in the on national news level or international level, and sometimes it's just whatever you feel like talking about at the time because you're just kicking back and relaxing. Like I said, keeping the spirit of Thanksgiving, and we're going to end with the thankful things that we're thankful for. But the first topic we're going to go through, and for those who are watching live, I'm going to drop this link in chat so you guys can see the results for yourself. That is not the right button I wanted. Results that for the poll I placed on X, I also paid to promote it. Full disclosure. So if you're wondering how I got so much engagement on said poll, that is how. Is doing it through that. So for those who are on Kick, X, or YouTube, for some reason the message did not go through you all. I think YouTube is because I don't really have the ability to chat on my YouTube channel, the channel that I'm on right now. X, you just don't have integration for chat for Rumble Studios yet. Same thing with Kick. Oh, there's YouTube. So it's just going to be Kick and X that will be missing out. Let me go ahead. I'll just retweet this. So if you're watching on X, you just have to go to my profile and you'll see it. Like I said, Kick, you're just SOL because Kick sucks. You guys don't update anything ever. That's what I don't get about when people complain about Rumble not updating things. Rumble updates things almost every week, whereas Kick hasn't updated a damn thing since it launched. So they still got coming soon for their tags for crying out loud. And the creator dashboard is probably worse than Rumble was when I first started. Anyway, enough complaint about that. We're going to focus on what we're grateful for. But the results. So I'm going to read off the post, and then I kind of give you more background on my thought process behind this, and then give the results and what my thoughts on the results are as well. So I had a conversation with Daramuth. He does his own podcast where he invites random guests on to discuss pretty much the same principle, except he tends to avoid politics, which is understandable. He not saying he forbids politics on his platform. He just doesn't get into politics. But it's not the primary focus of his stream. And he just talks about content and content creation, the world of Rumble and stuff like that. That's usually his lane for his podcast. We were getting a discussion about at this time was a possibility of Dr. Disrespect coming to Rumble. We weren't, a lot of us were pretty certain it was him. Chris teased it enough. Dr. Disrespect also teased it a little bit. So we were all pretty certain that it was going to be him. So when it was announced, we weren't surprised, but a lot of people were excited. Nobody was shocked, except for those who weren't paying attention at all. We all figured it was coming. Daramuth was talk about some concerns of one signing on another big creator for gaming instead of not an in-house creator that has been working their butt off for Rumble. Again, I do understand that viewpoint and that complaint. However, I also understand why I personally think going with somebody like Dr. Disrespect, as far as numbers alone, we're going to remove him from the controversy for now. Why I think that. I think that was a really good, smart move from Chris. And like I said, we'll get into that when we're talking about Dr. Disrespect himself. So this generated this conversation. So I said conversation with Daramuth. I did not at him in this because you cannot at people in tweets to promote, which makes sense because that could lead to harassment. I could pay to talk shit about somebody, have them and at them so that everybody knows exactly who to go for and who to look for and who to harass. So excellent. Let me do that. Completely understandable. So Daramuth, if you're watching, I didn't cut you out because I didn't want to give you credit. I cut you out because I can't pay to promote a tweet if you're added in it. So I did give you credit by his handle is actually in there. The @ symbol is just removed. So the question I came up with in this poll was, what do the people reading this post consider a small creator based on followers alone? Again, well aware, if you're going to do a creator program, it can't be just based on followers alone. A lot of people, whenever they brought up the arguments for or against creator programs, they mentioned followers almost all the time. That was the main focus. So that's why this poll is focused on create followers. In fact, a lot of people were saying why they should be selected for stuff even considered for something like Dr. Disrespect got is based on their follower count alone, and not really there's chatter engagement or the views or their average viewers or the likes to dislikes and comments. All that it was strictly the words out of their mouth were comments I get it. Not everybody pays for premiums as a character limit, so they just say just what they can to get it to fit in there. Small program, and no matter what platform hosting the program, should there be a threshold, a cap, if you will, or once you hit a certain number of followers, should you be removed from the program? Let me know in the poll below, or provide your own feedback in the comments. So the poll, I gave the options of 100 to 200 followers, 250 to 500 followers, 500 to 1,000 followers. Others comment below. A lot of people are saying, so no surprise, 500 to 1,000 followers got the highest vote out of, it was only 97 votes, so it's not like the most scientific poll out there. There's like billions of people on Twitter, and I only got 97 votes for a paid tweet. But a lot of people, when they see promoted tweets, they do intend to ignore it. The only time I had huge success on a promoted tweet is when I was doing a Autism Awareness Month charity stream. I got yelled at because I used the wrong ribbon, so people were, and I said help fight autism, and that triggered people. I wasn't doing that to be any harmful, disrespectful, but a lot of people took it that way, and we're saying it's because you all don't view us as normal. But I seriously didn't mean any harm, but it triggered enough people to respond to my promoted tweet, and they said it was disgusting that I paid to promote it to grow my own numbers. That was not the intent. In fact, it actually had a very positive. The comments were very negative, but the results were very positive because we were able to crush, I think, 5 goals for that charity event, and that made that good friend of mine, by the way, the organizer, very happy. He wasn't expecting to even break the first goal, so the fact that we were crushed by I want to say it's 3 to 5 goals, was awesome, and it made everybody involved very, very happy. So I'm very grateful that despite the negative press I got, the negative reactions I got, we were still be able to absolutely crush it. For the a lot of people did come in the stream because of that post, and they ended up donating quite a bit of money, especially once they found out what I intended and what I meant by the post. It's funny what happens when you try to have conversations with people. You actually find out what they're all about. So this, and then the other one that was very successful is when I asked Kamala supporters, without saying Trump, why were they voting for Kamala? That went over like a fart in church too. That was a very entertaining read. It's still up available on X. I think it's in my highlighted post. So if you want to try to dig through my highlight post and see the whirlwind of replies in there, knock yourself out. I've never been blocked so much in my life. But yeah, anyway, sorry, tangent over with. In fact, actually, that podcast, that Let's Grab a Beer episode where I discussed that post, is actually still getting views to this day. And that's fantastic for Rumble, and that's going to lead into the Dr. Disrespect portion of this this podcast. Is that I have definitely seen an increase of old videos getting views all of a sudden. Not only just views, but ad views, views that have generated ads for me. So, or ad revenue for me. So it's looking good for Rumble right now, and I hope it continues to do so. That in fact, the episode 18 is my most viewed stream without a promotion, like without being featured on Rumble. It's at almost 1,900 views already. So that's fantastic. Thank you all for supporting that. By the way, I mean, granted, you had Dr. Disrespect the name. Dr. Disrespect was hot and happening on Rumble and all over social media, so that definitely helped in getting it some visibility. But it shows you that Rumble's algorithm and searches are starting to improve. But yeah, 500 to 1,000 followers got the most views. I think on a platform like Rumble, 500 to 1,000 is a good number for small creators. So you could say, and when I say 500 to 1,000, I'm not saying if you're below 500, you can't be considered for the small creator program. The 5 to 100, the 5 to 100, 500 to 1,000, I did eventually ask people who responded in the comments, would they select people below that threshold? Some said yes, some said no, some said they wouldn't even do the program at all, which is also understandable. But I think for Rumble, 500 to 1,000 is a pretty good number. Obviously, anything below that threshold is also a good consideration for the or just for small creators. Let's remove it from the small creator program itself. For just small creators, anything below 1,000 on Rumble is pretty good. And somebody, let me see, who was it? I can't remember his name. He got something he Googled, and then it brought up some good points about this. I'll post a link to this in chat too, so you guys can check it out. It was Neo X5. He had a screenshot, and I'll provide this in the. And if you guys are watching this, these links will be in the comments and the pinned comment and in the description of the stream as well for you to pull up. Neo X5 had this screen grab he had from a search. It says influencer type follower count, and mega influencer is 1 million plus, macro influencer is 100,000 to 1 million, micro influencer is 1,000 to 100,000, nano influencer is less than 1,000. So that chart applies to everything like Twitch, maybe Kick, because Kick did explode pretty quickly, and YouTube, definitely YouTube. That being because, I mean, it's not uncommon to find influencers with over 1 million followers now, and then those numbers are increasing, especially on YouTube specifically. Maybe not so much on Twitch. I guess I haven't really paid that much attention to the biggest creators on Twitch and how many of them are over 1 million. And I can care less about Kick, so I'm not digging into that rabbit hole. Because a lot of the people on Kick are also creators in Twitch. They're just like double dipping because Twitch has better payout. Or sorry, Kick has better payout. And looser rules. I think Rumble, because I mean, before excluding Alex Zedra and now Dr. Disrespect, I would say probably the average bigger creators 2,000 to 5,000 followers for gaming specifically. If we go outside of gaming, obviously that range increases, but we're going to talk about gaming specifically. So I think anything below 1,000 is a good mark for a small creator. 1,000, maybe even too generous, if you really ask me. A lot of people were saying anything below 5,000, and I asked a question like, now it was like I think it was True Cinema. He was the one that had like the most sensible response, or was it Patty's? I mean, him and Patty and him both had some pretty sensible response. No, Patty had one and True had one. So one of the we'll talk about True's response. He was talking about it should be a tiered system. Obviously, if you get above, if he, I think he said his cap was going to be 5,000 for and less for a small creator. Again, personally, for Rumble and looking at Rumble alone, I think that's way too high of a threshold for anybody to be considered for the program itself. You may be able to call these people small creators, but to be considered for the program, that's too high of a threshold for a small creator, in my opinion. If you guys can disagree, let me know in the comments. If you're watching the recording, if you guys are watching the chat right now, let me know in the chat, and I'll read it once the recording is over. So I think anything 1,000 or less for Rumble specifically is pretty good. I do think this should be a minimum cap. If you, I would say 100 is maybe too generous, but I think 100 is a decent one. And anybody, you have to be 100 plus, between 100 to 1,000 followers for the small creator program. If you're below to 100, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't cut it. I know you'll be like, well, I'll never grow. There's ways to grow. I mentioned it in episode 18. A lot of these people complain about how Rumble isn't treating them fairly. Rumble doesn't care about small creators because they themselves aren't doing well. There are also the people that do little to no work to promote their content. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again because I beat that dead horse enough. I'll probably mention it again tonight during my gaming stream. So I don't really need to go down it. Basically, the moral of the story is if you want to grow as a creator, stop relying on everybody else and start putting in the work yourself. It's like anything else in life. Anything worth having is not easy to attain. You have to work for it. If you're not willing to work for it, you're not going to get it. And nobody's going to give it to you. So stop trying to ask for handouts. There's a reason why the election went the way it was. Everybody was sick of everybody trying to get handouts. We are working hard for our stuff. Why is everybody getting the stuff we worked hard for? I don't know what Chris has in mind. It's probably going to be over 2,000 followers. It'd probably be under the $5,000 or $5,000 under the 5,000 follower threshold for the program. Mainly because of whether you like it or hate it, Lumpy Potato, Silver Fox, they're well above the 1,000. I know Lumpy. I think he's in the 2K range. I've hung out in streams. I just don't watch his follower count anymore. Silver Fox, he's well over 1,000. I don't know if he broke 2K yet or not. So they're gonna definitely, especially for Lumpy specifically, gonna open up so he can join. he probably will be like the head / ambassador for the small creator program because he is an OG Rumbler. Like it or hate it, he is an OG Rumbler. You can say it's favoritism, is because you can say he sucked up to the Rumble staff. I say it's a mix of right place, right time, both physically and online. He's located in Florida, so that helps him a lot. And it's also, I'd say, because he has charisma, whether you like his content or find it entertaining yourself personally. He has a pull. There's a reason why he's growing. I mean, I've been featured 3 times. The first time I was featured, I had over almost 200,000 views on that stream and only got 63 followers. So, um, yeah, these people that think that if they get featured, they're going to explode in followership and viewership and stuff. You're not going to. If you don't have the drive and the motivation, you're just gonna plateau. I mean, I plateaued recently. I've seen a spike since the Doctor Disrespect announcement, but we'll see how long that lasts for myself. And if I start failing, I'm not gonna blame Rumble for that. The only way I'll blame Rumble is if I find it's obviously mismanaged this whole momentum that they gained and things fell flat on their face, and everybody across the board is starting to see the dip now that the this peak hit, like this high hits, and then we're going to see this massive dip if Chris and them don't manage as well. I have confidence that they will, but we'll see what happens. They're going to give Doctor Disrespect a lot of leeway and pull when it comes to gaming, and I believe whether or not you like him, whether you don't like him because of his content or you don't like him because of the controversy, he has what it takes to make good content. You don't necessarily have to like him, and I don't necessarily disagree with you if you don't like him, but he is successful for a reason. And despite the amount of controversies he keeps finding himself in, and the many times he's been banned and removed from streaming platforms, he's still going strong. So, got to give it to him. He got it. He's got it. Again, you don't have to like it. It's just what it is. Um, so me personally, I think for the small creator program, I think creators 1,000 less, probably no less than 100. 200 probably be ideal for Rumble specifically. I know it's going to cut a lot of people out. Hell, I mean, if he puts it at 500 to 5,000, that's fine with me, or even 6,000, 600. I'm doing this on purpose because I'm at 591 or 92. I don't remember where I am for gaming. But I also hope Chris doesn't limit it to just gamers. I hope he opens this creator program out to all creators on Rumble, regardless of category, because a lot of gamers got a lot of love in the past small creator programs, uh, and I can understand the frustrations for everybody else that's not a gamer. And I believe Chris absolutely, because this is going to be a permanent thing, and it's going to basically he's going to have a lot of milestones and thresholds set to be able to even apply. And then after apply, I hope they vet very seriously and do the due diligence before accepting people, especially if they plan to promote these people. Um, I think this will definitely open a lot of opportunities for creators who are not in gaming. A lot of podcast channels might not get a lot of love. I don't know. I personally don't think they should. I know that's going to be controversial, but hear me out. The reason why I think this is the thing is because Rumble's known for its politics and its podcasting, um, and mainly right wing leaning stuff. So if you guys are very political, newsworthy podcast channels, I don't necessarily think you should be at the top of the pick for the small creator program because that's all Rumble is. I know that's not fair. I'm not saying he shouldn't pick you at all, uh, because Rumble really, really is struggling with this. It's a political only platform, especially for the right, and they need to break away from this. And that's why I think it's a good thing that Dr. Disrespect was brought on board. Hopefully, we'll get some other bigger creators outside of gaming and politics to help encourage other creators to come to Rumble, like astrophotography. I know it's a very small, tiny niche, but you got your arts and crafts, you got your cooking, you got your baking, you got your how-tos, get stuff like that. Like I would love to see like a John Malecki style channel on YouTube or on Rumble do well. Somebody that does a lot of woodworking and power tools and stuff like that. That would be awesome to see more things like that. But again, the reason why John Malecki is successful, he's very charismatic, very energetic, very entertaining. I mean, because if you just record yourself building something every day, it gets boring after a while, especially for the younger audiences. So you need somebody with that charisma and energy and entertainment factor to be able to be successful in content creation in general. Um, but I think we're going to go ahead and start transitioning into the Dr. Disrespect. So uh, actually, let me stop this recording. We're at 29 minutes, so in about a minute, this recording will stop on its own, and it will probably cut off mid-sentence, and I hate it when it does that. So I'm going to stop the recording, and nobody's talking in chat right now, so we're just going to go ahead and immediately start the recording and continue on with this conversation. We're going to probably spend, hopefully, about 15 minutes on Dr. Disrespect, and then we'll move on to what I'm thankful for, and then we'll wrap it up from there and give you guys my final thoughts on the beer. I'm kind of nursing this beer because the beer is cold and it's cold out here. So, plus, something about IPAs make me get congested really easily too. But anyway, hold on. Oh, fuck. Well, that's one way to finish a can of beer. Party foul and dump it on the table. Well, guys, something did happen while I was off camera. Immediately after I stopped recording, I dumped over what was left of the beer in my glass, and it's all over the table. I would love to say I chugged it, that's why it's empty, but that is not exactly what happened. If you were watching live, you saw me knock it over. So, yeah, you guys even see? You can see some of the beer. It looks like dog piss is on my picnic table right now. By the way, I forgot to put this in my description. These beer companies do not sponsor me to do this. This is all I'm paying out of pocket for this beer, and with my own hard-earned cash. Obviously, if you guys subscribe or rant, your money goes towards these purchases, so I can continue doing these episodes. Yes, Carrie, yikes indeed. Well, this is why we do it outdoors. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, we were talking about Dr. Disrespect. So overall, I think Dr. Disrespect is a very good positive, and I think it's a smart move on Chris. I know he's got the controversy of having inappropriate conversations with a minor, as I said in episode 18, and in some of my gaming streams since the announcement has taken place. I think it's disgusting that he had inappropriate conversations with this minor. The specifics for said conversation haven't been released, so I don't know if it's as simple as him making inappropriate jokes to this person, or if he was full on flirting with this individual. As far as I understand, nothing physical ever happened. I don't even think they even met in person, at least not in that way. I guess they might have met up at some kind of convention or something. They didn't hook up, if you will, because he did go to court over this. He was found innocent. I don't know if there was lawsuits involved, but he's not criminally charged. He's found innocent in the court of law. And I trust Twitch staff as far as I can throw them. A lot of the controversy behind this is kids are not supposed to be able to use the DM feature on Twitch. In fact, kids are not even supposed to be on Twitch at all. Twitch does tend to put a blind eye to it all, like with people like Amarath and actually, she's probably one of the worst ones. The ones that do all the nipple slips and kitty cat slips, if you will. And are exposing themselves and get like a slap on the hand, and then they're back on Twitch all of a sudden. Because you know what my personal opinion on that is, I guarantee the not necessarily physical sexual favors, but I guarantee sexual favors have been traded with Twitch staff to ensure these creators can stay on the Twitch platform. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out eventually. We're gonna have our own Diddy tape / Epstein Island scandal on Twitch. I guarantee it. Because anytime a guy does something like that, they're banned, and then almost always never coming back. And if they do come back, it's after months, maybe even years of timeout, basically. So, I am well aware, Dr. Disrespect, it was unfaithful to his wife. He did cheat on her. As far as I know, the individual he cheated on his wife with was of age. It doesn't make it right, in my opinion. Some people have. I know there's a few of you who don't care. I mean, what you do in your personal time is what you do in your personal time. Is to a lot of these people, I agree to a point. I'm not going to idolize Dr. Disrespect anytime soon. However, I also am well aware that we all make mistakes. We do things we all regret and hope to never do again. And if he truly has learned from his mistakes and asked for his wife forgiveness and she forgives him and he's actually doing better in that regard, then I think we should all do the same and forgive him. We don't need to hold it all over his head. And that goes for anybody that makes any mistakes like this. If they've truly learned the mistakes and are doing better, then that's fine. If they're constantly repeating said mistakes and still doing the same thing over and over again, then obviously they need to be condemned and held accountable accordingly. From what I understand, the time frame of when he was having this the alleged inappropriate conversations with this minor was about the time he admitted to cheating on his wife. I don't know if it's the time he cheated on his wife or it's just the time he admitted to cheating on his wife. Um, I still believe that the woman he cheated on or had the affair with is not the minor in question. I don't think anything physical happened, and I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it was just. And I'm not trying to belittle the situation. I'm not. Well, I guess it is kind of belittling or degrade or downgrading. Um, let's put it this way. I'd much rather find out somebody was having this is gonna I gotta be careful how I say this because people are gonna fly off the handle, especially those that are parents. I'm not trying to decrease the severeness of this situation. As a father, I would rather somebody be making inappropriate jokes to my child. I will still beat their asses if I ever caught them doing this, as opposed to somebody that was making very sexually explicit advancements, verbally or physically, towards my child. Hopefully, no. As far as I know, no pictures were exchanged between him and this minor. Um, I don't know. No, the jokes are just as bad. It's just flirting because sometimes jokes are being used to flirt. So yeah, I'm not going to say that. That's not fair for me to say that. But the point is, it is wrong, no matter how you view it. And I do understand and sympathize with people that are upset about Dr. Disrespect coming because of that scandal, because he did admit to having an inappropriate conversation with a minor. Again, the details of that conversation have not been released. Twitch keeps threatening the ex-Twitch staff that brought this to light keep threatening to release the conversation, and they still refuse to do so. And every time they do, it's like, if I sell X amount of tickets, I will do this. If I sell X amount of this, I'll do that. So that also decreases the credibility of these stories, in my opinion, because these people are clearly doing it for clout and money. They know they have failed and they're for more employment, so they're trying to take advantage of the situation and make a name for themselves and monies elsewhere. So I do think Dr. Disrespect did things that he was not supposed to be doing, but I don't think it's as severe as the ex Twitch staff has made it out to be. There's a reason why Twitch has also kept it quiet, and it's also a reason why these individuals are ex Twitch staff. They're not current Twitch employees. But anyway, overall, now that I got that out of the side, I think scandal removed. Not trying to like demean or decrease the severity of the scandal. I think, as for numbers and business perspective alone, it was very smart to bring Dr. Disrespect on board. I think he will do very well for Rumble, especially if Rumble does listen to his advice and they do implement some of his suggestions. He has already created a massive bump to Twitter or to Rumble since his announcement, whereas REDCON and Kai Cenat did not really bring a bump, at least not in the gaming world, as far as I'm aware. I never saw an increase when they got signed on. In fact, I just saw REDCON was just a very laid back, looked like a pothead to me, just constantly high on stream. I didn't really have any issues with him except for that one little scandal I had where I say scandal, one little situation when I had a little too much to drink and started a little uprising in his chat to the point where I was being attacked by his viewers at one point. So, but REDCON and I ended up being pretty cool about it afterwards. I mean, it's not like we're buddies and I'll be doing collab streams with him anytime soon, but he was pretty cool about it after I explained what was going on. And so were a lot of his viewers, specifically one of his moderators. We ended up talking offline for a bit after that whole situation took place. Kai Cenat, I don't really have a lot of respect for in general. I do not like these rage bait shock jocks that intentionally do bullshit to get reactions. I'm not a huge to do things that are funny. That's fine, but to intentionally try to piss people off or I don't know. It's lowbrow content to me, but it is successful, so I can't knock it. They're doing really well. They're getting partnerships and deals, and their fan base is growing. I just personally am not a fan of it. I'd much rather watch a Dr. Disrespect over them, and I would much rather watch Rice Gum over them, from what I know about Rice Gum. Uh, and I think Chris has learned a lot from those past contracts and deals to where he will make sure there is a net benefit to Rumble as a whole, not just gaming in general, for bringing on the doc. I do know. I'm not gonna say who they are because I don't want them to be harassed. Some of them are friends, regardless of how. I don't fully respect this opinion, but they're friends. They're people. They're allowed to have opinions, and I am not required to agree or respect their opinion. I can respect them as human beings and respect them for the ability to have an opinion. That's the point of a free country, after all. There are some people that are very upset because they're like, Chris said no big contracts. First of all, I don't think money's exchanged hands with the doc. I think just an agreement was made. Um, and an issue with, and so they're upset because I guess Chris said he was never going to sign big contracts anymore, and it has appeared that he has gone back on that. I have never heard him say that. I've never seen him say that. Nobody's provided me evidence to say he said that, but a lot of the people that have said it are people I trust. So I wouldn't think they would be lying or bullshitting about it unless they heard it from somebody else and just ran with it, which I notice also has happened since the Dr. Disrespect announcement. A lot of people are hearing a lot of hearsay. Like, was it Neon? It was some other shithead content creator that was supposed to get a $30 million deal to come to Rumble, and everybody ran with it without, like, from this guy that I've never heard of, and they all ran with it as if it was fact. So it makes me question. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it sometimes, but the amount of people that did this and repeatedly did this since the Dr. Disrespect thing started makes you question, like, how often you guys research things before you start talking about it. That does concern me and bother me a little bit. But um, I do think Chris is going to be smart with this. Hopefully, he does very well from Rumble. There is a chance we're going to have a massive spike in viewers and followers, especially once the doc starts creating. However, will that maintain? I don't think so. I mean, not that I don't think so. I don't know. It's very easy that we can see a spike and then just go right back down to where things were before the doc signed on. Hopefully, that's not the case. It's going to be up to Rumble on how they're going to manage and promote this stuff. If they don't do it well, it can, like I said, fall flat on its face. And us non-political creators, will be right back to where we started before the doc came on board. Um, I had another point I was going to make, but I did say there's a couple things that I called. Then one of them specifically, not many people, only my inner circle kind of agreed on this. Nobody else really talked about it. But the first thing I called is Rumble absolutely needs, and I'm not the only one that called this. So I'm not going to take credit for this one. I know for a fact I'm not the only one that called this. Rumble was constantly promoting Dan Bongino and Crowder for their massive numbers they were doing in the streams, and at the same time trying to tell the rest of the world that they are not a political right-wing only platform. But it's like the only time they ever talked about any success, it was involving politics. So it's kind of hard to say and get away from that stigma. It got to the point I gave up when somebody says Rumble is a right-wing political platform only. It's like, every time I say that it's not, and I give examples that it's not, Chris or the main Rumble account or both brag about Dan Bongino or Crowder or something like that. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, that's the only thing that they're going to be concerned about. However, I did know and understand why, and I say no now because Chris confirmed it on, I want to say it was on the Creators Corner, or whatever the heck Lumpy calls it, where he had Chris and Silver Fox on. Um, Chris did confirm it during that stream. If you want to check it out, go to Lumpy Potato stream and see his most recent stream with Chris Pavlovsky. It's his second one since starting this new thing. I think they're doing it once a month now, where we as creators also get to ask questions to Chris. Lumpy will do like posts beforehand. Silver will also be around asking people questions. And then obviously anybody that rants, and even sometimes non-ranting comments will get read depending on if they catch the attention of anybody. So they asked Chris a bunch of questions. In fact, a lot of technical questions were asked, and Chris was regretting not having Rick on board for that, which I can understand because a lot of stuff people were talking about were going way over my head. So somebody like Rick would have been very helpful for that episode. But the thing that Chris confirmed was I was saying, I want to say as early as March last year or this year, maybe a little later than that. I would say no later than June. Chris was talking about near the end of 23 that 2024 is going to be Rumble's Super Bowl. In a way, it was, but not in the way a lot of people were hoping for, because a lot of people think Super Bowl for everything but politics. I pretty much figured Chris was talking about for political sense, because 2024, for those who don't know, was a presidential election, probably one of the biggest, if not, it was definitely the biggest in my lifetime. It may have been one of the biggest in the country, if not the biggest. I don't think it was the biggest, but it was one of the biggest elections of our country. And it's definitely the biggest one in my lifetime. So obviously Rumble's going to do very well with that, especially with Google and all those other platforms. It's so desperately so hard to silence certain narratives that would affect the Democratic Party, whereas Rumble's allowing all conversations. Democratic conversations happen on Rumble too. They just weren't as prevalent. You could say that's at fault of Rumble for not promoting it, or you could say it's at fault of the creator who was running the content. I mean, Destiny was being promoted by Rumble for a while. I don't know if he still is. I don't think he is. In fact, I don't even know if he's creating a Rumble anymore. Guy's kind of a psychotic nut job at this point, so I don't think anybody should really be listening. Well, no, that's not fair. You should listen to him because he does have some valid points for his side of the argument when you remove the crazy that's coming out of his mouth right now. I think he's going through a lot. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I figured that's what Chris meant by Super Bowl. He's banking on the election doing very well for Rumble, which it absolutely did. Rumble crushed it during the election. So it was, in fact, Rumble Super Bowl in that regard. And then he also said and I called, this is what I particularly called this year. I said, everybody's super excited about this Rumble Super Bowl comment that Chris made, thinking it's going to be very well for them. But I knew the main focus was going to be election for Rumble and that was going to be by default politics and news. Because that was going to be absolutely huge for Rumble. Rumble is going to be the only platform doing this stuff. No other platform is going to do it. They're going to, like YouTube was copyright striking and taking down streams at one point for certain debates because certain MSM's outlets had agreement with Google to make sure they did that stuff. Rumble said, F you, we're going to do what we want, we're grown. And Rumble benefited greatly because of that. Unfortunately, that meant nothing for anybody outside of politics. That meant everything for everybody. If you're a political news podcaster, streamer, or whatever you want to call yourself, you did fantastic this year, for the most part. But gaming, we plateaued. And some people even saw dips to the point they just left. Or I say left, they haven't created in general in a while. And I was like, I guarantee after the election, Chris is going to shift focus to the non-political stuff. I didn't like it, but I understood it from a business standpoint. People I've been called a cut because I'm defending a multi-million-dollar company. But you got to be a retard if you don't understand that a business needs to be a business to succeed. If they're not doing stuff that's going to make them money, they're going to fail. Rumble is a publicly traded company. They have shareholders. If they're not making the shareholders happy, they're going to lose that money. They're not. Lord knows they're not getting ad revenue. So they got to get money somewhere. If they're not doing things to show success, and if that means just success and Dan Bongino, then that means they're going to talk about success and Dan Bongino. But Silver Fox made a video on X about a month and a half ago. It was about a month and a half ago. That kind of called out Rumble for the lack of love that they're showing outside of politics, and it kind of forced Chris's hand. And honestly, again, a lot of people don't like Silver Fox for various reasons. Anybody that knows me from since I started creating, I've had my run-ins with Silver once or twice. I don't think, as far as I know, I don't think we really have any bad blood between us anymore. However, we kind of agreed to disagree and kind of shook hands and went separate ways. Does that mean I would be nasty towards him if he ever approached me? No. Does it mean I'm gonna call him out and make fun of him? No. As long as he gives me the same respect, obviously. But love him or hate him, he forced Chris's hand, and I think the timing of when he forced Chris's hand was perfect for Rumble outside of politics because it was just at the tail end of the election. The election wasn't completely over yet, and it was enough that where we got this beautiful mesh of politics and non-politics. Just I'm dripping beer all over my pants right now. Politics and not politics. And now that we got Dan Bongino doing very successful, now we got Dr. Disrespect coming up, and that's gonna hopefully. There's a lot of tension on Rumble in general just because of Dan Bongino. Now we're gonna pull in somebody like Dr. Disrespect, and there's a lot of people are talking about Mixer has signed on Ninja but still failed. But a lot of Ninja fans, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't follow Ninja all that hard. They don't have diehard zealots. There are diehard zealots in the champion club. And I don't mean that in a very mean, disrespectful way. Dr. Disrespect has very loyal fans. Like, these people are sticking to him, despite the fact a lot of people dropping him on the accusations of him being a pedophile. So that's a pretty loyal fan base. If you got a fan base that's that loyal to stick with you through something like that, without evidence to prove or disprove otherwise, that's a pretty good fan base. I don't think Ninja ever had that following. He had a massive following for sure, and he was bigger than Dr. Disrespect is now, I believe, when he went over to Mixer. I think Mixer had some other issues going on prior to signing on uh, Ninja, and Ninja was like a last ditch effort to rescue it. I have had a couple of people correct me saying they believe I was wrong, but I didn't really give a lot of attention to Mixer, and a lot of people I knew that created didn't give a lot of attention to Mixer. We started paying attention when Ninja came on board, and we considered, like I considered him about the time I was getting ready to pull the trigger. That's when Mixer announced that they were done. So that leads me to believe Mixer was on its way out before signing Ninja, and they were really, really hoping this big deal with Ninja would pull enough people over to save the platform, and it didn't. And I believe that's because a lot of Ninja's fans didn't really go over to Mixer. And maybe that's going to be the case with Dr. Disrespect. A lot of people may not go over to Rumble. He's still creating on YouTube. They may just stick to YouTube. But if what they say about how they handled the Crowder transition, if they handled the Dr. Disrespect transition just as similar, it could be very beneficial for Rumble and for the rest of us. A lot of people are thinking, well, this Rumble talked about how they care about the small creator. However, they signed on this big guy, despite all of us giving our blood, sweat, and tears to Rumble, which a lot of them haven't given blood, sweat, and tears to anything, let alone Rumble. But they feel that way. And to see Rumble go and sign somebody like Dr. Disrespect, some people feel like they were stabbed in the back for it. I didn't feel that way. A lot of people know I am a huge advocate for Rumble, and I'm constantly talking about Rumble and bragging about Rumble. I'm very happy to be in Rumble. Yes, I'm multi-streaming as of right now, but I have said many, many times before, come 2025, I will no longer be multi-streaming except for twice a week. And I'm going to be doing those twice a week streams to pull people from other platforms to my Rumble platform to promote my Rumble content. I don't have the money or infrastructure like Crowder does to do what he does to pull people over. So my next best thing is to multi-stream like twice a week out of my 5 streams. So that's 2 out of 5 streams that will be on all the platforms, and then once a week it would be, or 3 times the rest of the week will be, or any bonus streams will be on Rumble exclusive. So that way, if I get people that are really enjoying my content and they want to stay, they would be more inclined to come over to Rumble to sign on and watch me. And that's already happened since the Dr. Disrespect spike has happened. Now I've had new followers that came over because of Dr. Disrespect. And then I had about 2 followers that enjoyed the content I was doing during the week. And one of them was on Twitch, and they said, "Hey, you keep talking about clicking stuff in your description. What are you talking about?" I said, "Oh, that's my description on Rumble." That person made a whole new account just so he can come over to Rumble and hang out with it, because my Twitch chat was pretty much dead. I have almost 500 followers on Twitch, and hardly anybody ever chatting in there. And usually when I do, it's somebody trying to sell me art or something. Um, so they saw that, they see my Rumble chat popping off. So they come over, they're hanging out with Rumble chat, and they now can click the links in my descriptions and all that good jazz. And now this person's talking about looking into creating on Rumble. So it works. I had somebody on YouTube. He asked me how often I stream War Thunder, and because he was there for my War Thunder content with Amazaka and Blues Nut, and sure enough, I told him, like, come January, though, there won't be any more War Thunder content on this channel. If you want to keep up, it's going to come to Rumble. He made an account on Rumble. Um, so he can watch me on War Thunder. And because, again, my chat on Rumble is kicking now, more so than ever. I mean, there's always 3 or 4 people at least in my chat. But now it's really kicking off because of the Dr. Disrespect thing. And it's either because new people are coming to Rumble, or people that were on Rumble before are starting to come back to Rumble because they want to see what's going on. They want to be a part of. They want to be a part of it, or they're just curious to see how things are going. So that is bringing people over from the other platforms to go and check out what I'm doing. That's where I said last episode I disagree with Chris when he says people feel like they need a multi-stream to be successful. You do need a multi-stream to be successful, especially if you're a non-political creator, because you're not going to be. As much as I love Chris, and as much as I love Rumble, Rumble is a publicly created company. We saw what happened to Kick or X, which was Twitter. Uh, Elon bought most of the shares and eventually took over or Twitter, and Twitter is now something it was. It's not even. It's the polar opposite of what it was back in when Jack Dorsey and I know Jack Dorsey wasn't really running it when Elon bought it, but Jack Dorsey's the one that created it. I guess it's more like what it was when it first started. I wasn't on Twitter when it first started, so I wouldn't really know. Um, and something like that, God forbid, hopefully it doesn't. Something can happen like that with Chris, or God forbid, something can physically happen to Chris. And I don't want this, and I hope it never does. But if you're trying to make money in content creation and you're relying on one man essentially to make sure you can be successful, you're not going to be successful because something's always going to happen that's going to hinder you from being successful. So if you're not willing to put in the work to succeed, you're not going to succeed. So focus on you and yourself. Don't worry about who crit. Well, you do need to worry about to a point, but don't worry about it so much that you're hyper focused on this person that Chris signed on, and less focus on you and your content. Look into ways how you take advantage of Dr. Disrespect coming to Rumble. You don't have to like Dr. Disrespect. You can still think he's a scumbag and believe he's an actual pedophile for all I care. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I learned a long time ago this is a benefit of being a Christian. Don't idolize humans because humans are flawed. Humans make mistakes. Humans do stupid things. I hope nobody idolizes me. You better not, because I promise if you knew the dark history that I have, and my wife is already well aware, I made sure she knew before we even started dating, you guys probably would be shocked and horrified and be like, "Why am I following this man?" So don't. I mean, I've already told some of the conversations, like on Pirate Panel, I mentioned some of the stuff. Like one of them, I messed around with a married woman. Not proud of it. Never hope. If I had to go through it again, I hope I would. I hope I don't want to do it again, but I've done it. It's part of my past. It's like when people will talk about the scandal coming with Dr. Disrespect. If you really get down deep to it, every single one of us has our own scandal to one degree or the other. Whether it's a scandal that's just going to make us look like a hypocrite enough to discredit us as a human being, especially if you're too busy trying to hide it from the world, or it's a scandal because you actually did something horrible that the rest of the world is going to shun you immediately if they ever found out. Mine uh, messing around with a married woman. Not proud of it. I hate it. It disgusts me. It makes me sick to my stomach every time I think about it. But it happened. There's nothing I can do about it except learn from my mistake and make sure I don't do it again. The only reason why I'm not in the limelight like that, like Dr. Disrespect is I have only 591 followers. I have over 2,000 on Twitter, but most of those people don't really engage or interact with my content anyway. But the point is, I'm not relevant enough for the media or the left to come after me like they come after Dr. Disrespect. If you're going to be worried about who's going to have what scandal when they're brought over to the Rumble, you're never going to be happy when Rumble brings somebody over to Rumble because they're going to always it's going to have the more successful that Rumble gets, the more that the left is going to push back on them, and they're going to constantly and you're going to have the normies that will want not know anything about Dr. Disrespect's scandal and not care and come over and be happy for Rumble, and you're going to have the normies that are so oblivious that they hear that they get news about his engagement with a minor before anything else, and that's enough for them to be turned off from Rumble. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just can't worry about what you can't control. All right, where are we at? This is going to be an abrupt stop. We're at 28 minutes. So we got to stop this recording. So much for this being less than an hour. So we're going to stop this recording, And one thing I'll say though, I got to stress, like I said, my wife knows about my past. So if you guys are thinking, oh, you're telling us this and we're strangers, what is your wife gonna think? She knows. She knows. She's well aware. I made sure she knew before we even started dating. So she knows all my deep and dark secrets. She knows more than my parents know. Um, I don't necessarily want to hide everything from my parents, but if they find out, they find out. They know I wasn't a very good Christian, if you will, when I was younger. So it's not going to be entirely be a shock. It's going to hurt them, but it won't entirely be a shock. But yeah, enough about that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to a more lighter note. I got this a little more negative and darker than I intended it to be. And we're going to move on to things that we are thankful for. I'm going to specifically talk about things that I'm thankful for. And I'm going to open up to anybody in chat that may or may not be watching to what you may be thankful for. So let me stop this recording and I'll start it back up again. Let me not knock this beer over before I do that. Carrie, I'm not familiar with Dr. Disrespect. He's bringing the traffic, and that is a positive for streamers. That is absolutely true, Carrie. I'm not super familiar. I just mainly know about his scandals. I love his production quality for his videos and teasers and stuff. I mainly see like his uploads more than anything. Um, and I like that stuff. I think they're pretty cool. They're well done. It gives you this like '80s action hero, action villain kind of vibe, which is pretty. I mean, that's what he's going for. So I like it. I dig it. Not everybody does, but I dig it. I can't. I'm not a big. A lot of the gamer streamers I watch is because they make me laugh, and it's usually their VODs I'm watching, like their edited VODs, not the full stream. And the ones I do watch live are actually people I like as people. Like I actually support and like as people. So if I'm hanging out in your stream, is as of right now, I like you as a person. I'm just hanging out there because I like you, and it's not because I think your content is boring and not entertaining. It's because it's just it's a hangout for me to hang out with people in chat and hang out with a streamer. It's not so much about the content for me specifically, but I'm also apparently what you call a boomer. So I gotta go take a leak real quick, chat. I'm also going to turn on my Christmas lights before my wife comes home, which she hasn't said anything, so she's probably going to be pretty late tonight. I'm going to go take a leak. I'm going to go through the things that I'm thankful for. After that, we'll look at what time it is. It's 5:30 right now, almost 5:30. And then I'll open it up to anybody in chat. In fact, when I get back, I'll go ahead and send the invite to call in. And if you guys want to, you don't have to have a camera. You only have to have your beverage of choice. It doesn't have to be adult. Just have a beverage with you. Um, and come up with at least one thing you're thankful for. The things I want to make you say before you even start is who you are. If you're a creator, promote whatever you want to promote, and then I'm going to ask you to give me one thing, minimum one thing that you're thankful for, and then after that we can just talk to talk. So let me go take a leak, turn on those lights, and then we'll send the link to call in if you want to call in, and then I'll start the record. Excuse me, recording again. All right, chat. I'm back. Getting ready. All right. So before I send this link out for you guys to all click if you want to join up in the call after I'm done recording. So if you accept, you gotta wait till the recording is over before I approve you. So if you're watching on anything but Rumble right now, you will have to have a Rumble account to be able to join the call. And you have to have a mic minimum. You don't need a webcam. I don't care if you have a webcam or not. Keyline Warrior, who was on last week, and ETN does have a mic, but last week he did not have any mic. Or does have a camera, but he didn't use it last week. Or not Keyline, sorry, or ETN. Vet Gaming didn't join with a mic or a camera. And Keyline, up until last week, always joined my calls, and he also did not have a webcam up until last episode. So if you guys want to join up, you just got to have a Rumble account and a mic. And I highly encourage your favorite beverage. It does not have to be adult. If you are going to get an adult beverage, be 21 or over. If you're in the U.S., respect your country's drinking laws if you're not in the U.S. And have one thing to be thankful for. Minimum one thing to be thankful for. If you don't have something to be thankful for, you're gonna have to come up with something, because I'll just keep you muted until you have something you're thankful for. But that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the recording. I still got beer dripping on my leg. This is awesome. We're almost done. We're gonna go through the thankful things. I'm gonna give my final opinion on the beer, and then if anybody is in the waiting room, we'll go ahead and answer the calls. If nobody's in the waiting room, we'll wrap up the stream. I'll get ready for tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on REDCON1 TV Gaming on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on Twitch, Kick and X, it's just be here. Just be following whatever you're watching this on that. It should be REDCON TV or REDCON on Kick and Twitch, and then X, because I'm a retard, is REDCON TVT. I may go live before then and play some Once Human, but my wife, I know she's in a rightfully so. I'm not saying this to talk bad about this. She's in a bad mood because they keep adding surgeries on a day that she was supposed to be able to go home early, and it looks like she may not be at work or home from work until probably almost 9 o'clock at this point. So I'm thankful for my husband's continued good health after a year of chemo, 2 surgeries, and 9 months of living on the mainland for treatment and finally home with me. That's awesome, Carrie. If you don't mind me saying, praise God. Like I said, I'm a Christian. I'm not a good Christian. There's no such thing as a good Christian. We're all sinners and flawed. But praise God. And if you don't believe in God, I'm very happy and thankful that your husband is home with you and is doing well from his treatments, and hope, and I pray and hope that this is the end of it for you, the both of you. So I'm glad that he's home with you. And if Carrie, if you don't mind, once I'm done doing the final bit of my recording, if you don't mind, I like to reread that message and include it in the recording. If you don't want me to, please let me know, and I'll keep that out of the recording. I mean, it's obviously going to be in the stream because I just read it in the stream, but you still may not. I mean, not many people are going to watch this late into a stream. So the chances of them actually seeing or hearing me say this is very little, but it's still there nonetheless. But I'm gonna go ahead and start the recording, and then I'll start reading chat again, and then open it up. Thank you. Yes, praise God. Awesome. I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for the both of you. I can't imagine what that puts you both, especially if you had to be separated from you to get the treatments. That must have been rough for you both. Being in the military, I know what it's like to be separated from those that you love. Especially during times that are rough. I can't imagine what it was like in your case, because it's a little different, more severe than what I've been through. Okay, I just want to make sure, Carrie. I'm going to go ahead and start the recording chat, and then after I'm done, like I said, here's the link one more time. If you guys want to join up, you just have to have a Rumble account and a mic to be able to do it, because this is through Rumble Studios. Other than that, if nobody joins up, my feelings will not be hurt, because it is actually getting quite chilly out here. And I'm thinking about getting a fire started and just relaxing until my wife gets home, and then I'll probably and I will be on at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on REDCON TV Gaming if you're on Rumble and YouTube. Everywhere else, just watch where you are, and it will be back up on there. And I don't know what we're playing tonight. The games I suggested, I haven't heard it. I know Noobs responded, but I haven't read his message yet. The games I suggested is DuckDuckGo or DuckDuckGoose. DuckDuckGo is the browser or search engine or something like that. I suggested Golf with Your Friends, Call of the Wild the Angler, Pummel Party, or something else. I'm gonna make a few more suggestions because I am one of my least favorite things. If you guys ever want to make plans with me, be decisive, know what you want, and get to that point. Because one or two things happen with me. One, I'm going to make the decision for you, regardless if you like it or not. Or two, I'm just not going to care. I'm going to go back to do whatever I want to do. And if you guys want to join me after the fact, that's up to you. And it's just the way I am. It's because I got a lot of indecisive people in my family, both in my immediate family and my married family. So my time is limited, and I can't spend a lot of my time trying to go back and forth, trying to figure out what do you want to do. I don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want? I mean, we can let them know. Don't do that with me. Have a plan. I'm having this issue. I'm trying to plan my retirement next year, and I'm having this issue with my family back home. Nobody's giving me a definitive answer. So I was like, all right, this is when the retirement ceremony is. This is the time it's going to happen. This is the location it's going to happen. It's now up to the rest of you. When are you going to show up and how long you're going to be here? I will help you guys as much as I can, but I have made the call. I am not playing around anymore, and that's. I used to be very indecisive myself, and I'm realizing how frustrating it is, and I'm starting to take control a little bit more. But all right, let me get this recording done, and we'll move on from here. All right, guys, so it looks like we're beating the full-on sunset. It's not going to be the darkest I've ever had one of these streams. It is getting quite chilly out here, and I was discussing with chat. I am going to open this up to anybody that's live right now if they want to watch. I dropped the link a few times in chat if they want to join. For those who are watching the VOD, this recording or the stream in the past, if you want to join these in the future, I cannot give you a schedule. These happen very, very random. This one was semi-scheduled because I said this was going to happen this Friday. I said 1 p.m. It didn't happen at 1 p.m. because I went running around. I went to Home Depot see if I can grab me some good Black Friday sales. I forgot my wallet, so the stuff I did grab I didn't get to buy it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going back there. Traffic was a nightmare. I hate traffic. I say I'm a country boy, meaning I lived in rural areas. I'm not a country boy where I grew up with like mud and well, I guess I grew up with mud. We didn't have pickup trucks. We didn't go hunting a lot. We did go fishing and we did build a lot of stuff with our hands. So I can only tolerate crowds to a point before I get very unbearable for everybody around me. And I mean that like I will start pushing through people. If I see you make eye contact with me and you continue staying in my way, I'm gonna push through you. Fair warning. But so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to put myself through that. I don't need to be spending that money. This is stuff I don't need. There's one thing I did need. I needed the light bulbs I grabbed for my wife's dining room chandelier. But I didn't need anything else. The other stuff was just stuff I was been eyeballing for a while. It was on sale. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab it. And I didn't really necessarily. I have the money, but I don't have the money. If that makes sense. Like I could spend the money. It just makes me more uncomfortable until the next paycheck, and I don't want to be more uncomfortable until the next paycheck. So that's where I was at. So I ended up just going to grab this case of beer. I say case is like 4 bottles or 4 cans, and then I came here to set this up, and now we're going to be doing some party games at around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on REDCON1 TV Gaming on Rumble and YouTube. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, if you want to make sure you see me all in the future because you really, really enjoy my personality and my entertainment factor, you might as well head over to Rumble because come January 1st, 2025, I will only be streaming on YouTube. Not even this one because you guys are watching on a special YouTube that's been dead for a while, which is part of the reason why I have no viewers right now. But if you end up watching this in the past, this YouTube will go back to being dead. My gaming and hobbies YouTube will be up and running again. However, it'll be only twice a week. If you want to watch me all 5 days of the week, you're gonna head over to Rumble and follow my channels over there. Just look up REDCON1 TV Gaming. Look for the snake lizard looking dude without the American flag behind it. That's my user account, and that will notify you no matter what channel I go live on. If you want it specifically gaming and hobbies, my gaming channel has the same lizard dude with the Rumble Dorito on his chest and the American flag behind him. That's the gaming channel. The hobbies channel has like a ocean view with REDCON TV hobbies and a telescope and stuff like that. So look for that, and that's my hobbies channel. This is the REDCON TV channel on Rumble. and I forgot what the icon is for this channel. The profile picture is, but it's just Aircon TV on Rumble, and you follow that, you're good to go. There's, as of right now, only one Aircon TV channel. I'm not popular enough to be in. I keep want to say intimidated. To be copied. We're just gonna say copied because I'm not smart enough to think of these words. I'm having Joe Biden moments. But all right, so I said my piece about the small creator program. I said my piece about Dr. Disrespect. I'm sure I've won people over or pushed people away with both of those opinions. Now we're gonna go move on to what I'm thankful for. Honestly, this is what I was hoping to spend the most time on. So this would probably be another 30-minute segment. We're gonna be talking about the things I'm thankful for. This year, admittedly, started off good and very quickly got very rough to the point where I was starting to slip into depression again. Um, for those who have been following me for a while, especially if you're on Twitch, you know I do a lot of stuff with StackUp.org through Regiment Gaming, Regiment GG. Uh, and StackUp.org is a charity, veteran-run and owned charity organization to help veterans and active duty service member and the U.S. and allied nations, specifically like Canada, England, Australia. I think those are the main focuses. I think they're starting to dabble with Germany a little bit now too, um, to help combat suicide in the military, regardless of branch or status. Like if you're active duty or prior or guard or reserve. I don't know if Canada, UK, or Australia, or France, or Germany has reserves or guard, but we do. Obviously, we're the USA number one, baby. Um, so I'm still raising money for Stack Up. If you're in my gaming streams and some of my hobby streams, you'll see a bot pop up about donating to StackUp.org. I used to push it really hard. I used to do specified gaming events where I donated my own money to do giveaways. I never had any giveaways donated by companies or other people. I used my own money to pay for these things and to do a big, massive giveaway at the end of each year. I'm not doing that this year because admittedly, I'm very burnt out. And one of the big things that I promote um, a lot, especially when I was doing work with Stack Up, is for those in the military, especially those involved in combat roles. I know a lot of us have been told. I mean, I've never been in a direct combat role. I got on a combat style deployment. I'm saying style because I was what the Army calls a FOB. I never left the FOB, but I still got some combat training before I even left. This was in Iraq when I was a young airman back in 2007 through 2008. One of the first things they told us is if your buddy gets hit in a firefight, do not treat your buddy. Finish the fight and then treat him because you're doing nobody any good if you get taken down in the process. Now you're both down and out, and nobody's there to take care of you. And then your buddy's going to die because of that. That principle applies to suicide awareness. If if your buddy's down and out, but you're starting to struggle yourself, finish the fight first and then help your buddy. I'm not saying completely abandon your buddy. Obviously, by continuing the fight, you're helping your buddy because you're ensuring you don't go down and he's still being protected, so he still can hang on to what life he has left or she. Um, and same principle for those who are not in the military. If you've flown on commercial airlines, they always say secure your mask first before helping others. The reason behind that being you're not going to do anybody good if you pass out from lack of oxygen, struggling to put the mask on somebody that's panicking, kicking, and screaming. You want to put your mask on so you get a good, healthy flow of oxygen into your system, but where you help the person who's kicking and screaming. Even if they go unconscious, they're not dead. They still have time to be saved. So if, it sounds horrible, but once they're unconscious, they're easier to help put the mask on because they're not kicking and screaming and fighting you. Um, that that's basically what happened this year with Stack Up. I'm still a big supporter of Stack Up. I'm still trying to save earn as much money as possible for Stack Up. But I took a step back because I was starting to struggle myself. I got things going on in my personal life with my family, both immediate and extended, that has worn me out. I've had a lot of stress with the political environment and the global environment, if you will. Uh, Obviously, you guys would understand why that would be if you pay attention to the news and if you're aware of what I do for a living. And I was also stressing out. I am coming to the point where I can retire from the military. I cannot. retire because the economy sucks. And obviously, and I just bought it. One of the things I'm going to be thankful for in a little bit, but I just bought it myself a truck, and I can't exactly stop working if I expect to pay this off and not have it reclaimed from me. Um, so I've been stressing. I got very down. I got very dark. There was a couple times I got pretty inebriated and acted inappropriately. You guys, if you're on Twitter, was that last year or this year? That might have been last year. Regardless, I got very inebriated and I did not act appropriately, and it caused some issues with friends, community, and luckily not with work or family. But it was enough to be a wake up call for me to rein that back. So again, I'm still a big proponent and supporter of Regiment, or well, yeah, Regiment Two, of Stack Up, but I've had to take a step back to take care of myself and focus myself because I found out I was giving up too much of myself at work, too much of myself into Stack Up, too much of myself into other things that are going on in my life that I had to take a step back so I can finally take care of myself. I'm actually, for those in the military, I'm going to mental health to get some help because I have not done anything to take care of myself up until at least a couple months ago. Um, and a lot of it, me being tired. If you've seen the streams, I said talk about how tired, and exhausted I am. That's because of everything I was going through. I also found I'm vitamin D deficient, which is part of the reason why I'm outside today. I mean, I always do. Let's grab a beer outside, regardless of if it's cold or not. If it's raining, I don't do it because my equipment would not survive in the rain. But so the beginning of the year went well because I got a job ensuring I was going to be able to retire where I'm currently living. I wasn't going to have to move again. I wasn't going to have to uproot my wife during a time where her family's going through a lot. Um, and I wasn't going to have to sell a house that I've put a lot of money and work into. And I have three dogs that, depending on where we would go, more than likely would not be able to go with us. And I wasn't willing to give that up to. So thank God I was able to get moved to another unit that allowed me to stay here so I can finish out my contract, if you will, and officially retire and hit my 20-year mark. So that's the first thing I'm very thankful for. But unfortunately, that was at the very beginning of the year, and the year got very rough very quickly after that because the job I took was not an easy job. It was a very demanding job. It was a very fulfilling job, but also a very demanding job that left me very exhausted. Um, and obviously, with the political environment, I was not. I support Trump, and I voted for Trump, and I was supporting him from day one. I was a little shaky in 2016, but my support for him grew over the years. He's not perfect, by the way. I'm not some maggot where I like you can't say anything bad about Trump. You could absolutely say a lot of bad about Trump, and I would probably agree with you. But my support for him has grown. I didn't think he was going to win this year. I thought a lot of shady business was going to be done. Whether you can say it's cheating or stealing, I'll leave that up to you guys. But I knew shenanigans were going to happen, and the chances of him winning was very slim. And that was discouraging to me because the current administration has made it very clear they're not afraid to start another war. Well, no new war started under Trump. In fact, several stopped. More would have stopped if things didn't happen the way they did happen. Peace agreements were made and stuff like that happened. It was looking very promising. I'm not afraid to go to war. I signed up for the military during a time of war. But going to war for petty bullshit that has nothing to do with me or this country is not something I'm looking to do, especially near the end of my career. And this is also when I was younger. I didn't have a wife to worry about. Um, I know if something happened to me, it would absolutely devastate my wife, and God forbid, it would mean even if I survived, it would mean I'd probably lose her. I'm not saying she would leave me. I'm saying not leave me in the divorcing me sense, leaving me in another sense. And I'm not going to get into much detail about that because I don't need to. And I'm not willing to do that. Not for bullshit. If the country is truly at risk and freedoms are on the line, and I need to answer my nation's call to protect this nation and the people I love, I absolutely would in a heartbeat. But for the bullshit that's going on right now, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to sacrifice everything I have and my wife for bullshit. Um, so that was weighing heavy on my heart. And then I have had people joke and say it must suck to be loved and be needed. In a way, it does. And I'm not saying I don't want it. I want that to stop. I'm saying that is again, especially for somebody. I may put on a tough outer shell that looks like I don't care, and I'm not there for people, and I'm very aggressive and very heartless when things aren't going somebody's way, and I kind of tell it to them like it's tell it to them straight. I care a lot, and it weighs down on me a lot. It takes a toll on me, and I feel like every time somebody's hurting that I care about, I have to give everything in me to take care of them. That's another thing that took a lot out of me. Both, I have had some viewers that I care a lot that went through some stuff, and I I was literally staying up till like 2 o'clock in the morning chatting with them. Um, it was like three or four of them, and I was waking up for work 3 hours later, exhausted, going to a job I was dreading, and it was taking a toll on me. And then I was coming home to a family. I'm not gonna say which members going through a lot, and I was also talking to them a lot. And I wasn't getting physically sick. I was getting mentally sick, I guess, and I was getting exhausted. So the year was rough. And then, make a long story short, because I'm dragging this out longer than I intend to. Come the election, or no, not even the election, because I didn't believe Trump was going to win up until it was officially called. I even after the decision desk called it for him and he made his victory speech, I didn't believe it. Um, Up until that point, things started to turn around for me. I about a month or two ago, I decided to go to mental health. Said, look, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. I need to take care of myself, or I'm not going to be able to take care of anybody I care about because I'm going to be ineffective. I want to be useless. And then the useless feeling I'm feeling now will actually become legitimate because I will be useless because I'm going to be shut down and turned off. I wasn't hanging out with my friends anymore outside of gaming. I was part of a Jeep club. I was doing basically every event that Jeep club did, I was there. Every meet and greet they did, I was there. I have not seen them since COVID, basically. Maybe a couple handful of times. I haven't been to any off roading trips. I haven't done any charity events really with them. And it was bothering me because I missed that stuff. So I was like, enough is enough. I need to take care of myself so I can get back to the old me that I wanted, the person I used to be, the high energy, fun loving, outgoing guy. I mean, I say outgoing. I'm borderline. What is it called? Introverted. It's very hard for me to make new friends, but once I make friends, I'm very outspoken, very bubbly. Very, I won't say bubbly, but you can't get me to shut up. If you can't tell from the stream, the reason why I'm very talkative during the stream is because it's a camera. I don't have people here. I don't. There's people obviously watching me, but there's not people. There's not people that I'm trying to impress or get to know because like, especially here in Georgia, a lot of people are big into college football. Georgia, the GSU and all, the Bulldogs and all that, and Atlanta Falcons. I like baseball, and I'm not really big into college sports because the state I come from, college sports, the only good college sport was hockey, and that's not very popular down here in the South. Um, I know very little to nothing about football. I've actually fallen out from baseball for a little bit because my team I liked in the major leagues got way too political for me, and I don't want anything to do with that. Uh, when I watch sports, I want to watch sports. I don't care about your politics when you're trying to hit me a grand slam so my team can take the championship home. So I finally started getting the help, and the moment I started doing that, I also reached out again. If you don't believe in God, I'm sorry, but I do. I reached out. I was like, God, I need to do something. I need to change something. And I started doing that stuff. I'm not perfect. I still make my mistakes. I still drink more than I should sometimes. Actually, this is probably the most sober let's grab a beer I've had in a long time. Hey, last week's wasn't even that sober. Um, and I need to make changes. Well, the first big change that happened outside of going to mental health is I went from 207 pounds to 192 pounds in about a month and a half. That's still slow gain, but I'm getting. I told myself I would never get above 200. My ideal weight's 170, 175 pounds, I believe, is what the doctor told me. Um, I've the heaviest I've been in a healthy way is 185, but that was muscle. I was going for explosive ordnance disposal (EOD). If you ever watch Hurt Locker, kind of like that, but not really like that. I say not like that because they made it more. intense because it's got to be more intense for movies, right? Um, in fact, when I was going for EOD, I was asked, this is about the time Hurt Locker came out. It's like, you're not trying to be EOD because of Hurt Locker. I was like, no. And the EOD tech that asked me this question literally said, good, I fucking hate that movie. So, give you an idea what that movie, but it's the best way I can describe what EOD is to the average person that's not in the military or not doesn't have any experience with law enforcement or military, because the law enforcement have their own version of the bomb squad. And I was going to do this job, and I was very in shape. I was 185 pounds, but it was muscle. I was running like 10 and a half minute mile and a half, and I was doing like 60 plus push-ups a minute, uh, 50 plus sit-ups a minute, and stuff like that. So like I was in really good shape, but I was at 207, and that was pure fat, and I was not okay with that. Got myself down to 192. Thank you, REDCON1, for helping with that. I know there's some controversy behind REDCON1, but REDCON1 did help me with that. And as you guys can tell, shameless plug, real quick, I am affiliated with them, and they have a discount code down in the description if you guys want to save some money on some of their products. So that was the first big change. That's the second thing I'm thankful for this year. Um, and also, I forgot to mention earlier in the year, I lost my grandfather, which I was he's one of the biggest reasons I joined the Air Force. And I was really hoping he'll be here for my retirement next year. Unfortunately, cancer took him from me, and I wasn't able to have that. And that took a toll on me as well, which also led up to me finally getting help. Um, sorry, I was struggling back some tears there real quick. Um, so I lost the weight. Uh, the two things I'm thankful for: getting the job to make sure I can retire here. I lost the weight, and then shortly after that, I got myself a brand new truck. Just in time, by the way, because my Jeep is now leaking coolant and oil, which is not great. And that means I don't have to fix it right now. I can wait to fix it, and I'm not spending money and time trying to fix it to make sure I can go to the work next day. How much, is that 20 minutes or 28 minutes? We'll see in about 15 seconds. Um, so I got myself a new truck, a Toyota Tundra 2024. Love it. I went with Toyota. I was originally looking at a Jeep Gladiator. Decided not to do that because I was not thrilled with the fact that one, Jeep is bought by Fiat, despite me being Italian, and I'm very proud of my Italian heritage. Two, because Jeep did it's 21. Okay, so we got 9 minutes left before I get to stop this recording. Jeep did a political rally for Joe Biden during COVID, where there's a bunch of empty Jeep Wranglers sitting out in front of him while he was giving a speech, and then they hired what's his nuts to do some music video with them, who is very anti-American. And then I think they also did something for Kamala Harris so I was like, fuck it, I'm done with them. They're not American anymore. They're obviously promoting candidates that don't care about the United States. I'm not giving them a dime anymore. My Jeep Wranglers at 2013, people joke it's not a real Jeep Wrangler, it's a Rubicon 4-door, but fair enough. Jeep Wranglers are 2 doors. So I refuse to buy any Jeep newer than 2013 at this point. So I decided not to get the Gladiator. Plus, the prices weren't making sense to me. The gas mileages weren't great in the Gladiators. The sizes for in terms of trucks, sizes did not make sense for the prices they were asking. I could get a Toyota Tundra full size for a lot cheaper, and I still have plenty of room for passengers in the back seat, or for about the same price, I should say. I'm going to say a lot cheaper. Actually, even cheaper if I got the baseline model. I end up getting a Tundra TRD Pro. Love it. Definitely spent more than I wanted to spend, but I love it. I'm very happy with it. Um, so that's the second thing I'm grateful for, because it came exactly at the time it needed to. Because my Jeep, I don't know how much longer it's going to last. I'm still keeping the Jeep because I want to go off roading. I'm not taking that truck off roading because I beat the shit out of my vehicles when I go off roading, and I do not want to beat the shit out of my daily driver. So I want to take that Jeep Wrangler. It's going to go up in the mountains with me when I go off roading with the Jeep Club. It's still going to be my fun vehicle. It's my one attachment to my favorite dog I ever had, Maverick. I lost him to cancer back in 21. Cancer sucks. Fuck cancer. In fact, Tom McDonald has a song called "Fuck Cancer." I highly recommend you check it out. So the second thing I'm grateful for is the third thing I'm grateful for is the truck. The final thing I'm grateful for, incredibly grateful for, is like the biggest relief and weight off my shoulders. I have officially been approved for retirement. I have a set of retirement orders sitting on my desk at my house and at work saying I've been officially approved and relieved of duty. I mean, I'm not officially, but the orders say relieved of duty, effectively 30 October 2025. 1 November 2025, I will no longer be Sergeant Airconda. I will be Mr. Anaconda. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my time in the military. The time in the military has given me more than I could ever ask for. I earned it. It sucked. I went through a lot of shit to get there, but I got my wife, I got my house, I got my dogs, I got my vehicles that are able to get me to point A to point B. I have benefits that are going to take care of her long after I'm gone, because Lord knows I'll probably pass before she will. Um, and I was able to help my family back home going through stuff that they wouldn't have been able. I wouldn't have been able to help if I wasn't in the military because I wouldn't have had the money or the means to do so. Now, I means I missed weddings, I missed graduations, I missed births, I missed funerals of very close family members. I missed a lot because of my time in the military, but I still wouldn't trade it for the world. I joined the military because I have every intention to give back to this country that I love. I still love this country despite everything we've been through in the recent years. I still absolutely love this country. Um, and I wouldn't trade my military service in the world. But one of my old supervisors, a few years back, he one day just came in and we found out he was retiring. He had well over 20 years of service when he was retiring. I looked at him and said, "What happened? You seem so happy. Why? Why are you?" He goes, "And Araconda. I'm not gonna say my last name. Um, you're one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna realize it's time." And that he woke up and realized it's time for him to retire from the military. Well, sure as hell, I woke up one day. It's like I'm tired. I'm done. It's time for me to move on. So I'm retiring. Um, if the country actually came under attack and I had to protect those I love and the freedoms I enjoy, I would do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't make my family happy. Wouldn't make my wife happy. But I mean, what's the point of having something worth living for if you're not willing to protect it? Um, but as of right now, and this, oh, another thing that took a huge relief off my shoulder is I believe the chances of World War III have decreased because Trump was in fact elected. That's my fourth thing I'm grateful for. Right, fifth thing, fifth thing I'm grateful for, thankful for. Trump did win. He's not perfect. He's not God. He's not uh, Hercules here to save us. Um, he's not Leonidas, but he is definitely what this country needs right now. Barring he's made some little shady picks. Biondi, I'm a little nervous about. I am not thrilled that Matt Gaetz has backed out. I think Matt Gaetz is a coward and a bitch, and borderline betraying his country by backing down so easily. But maybe there's something I don't know about. I don't know the same benefit I give Chris Pavlovsky when he does seemingly unpopular decisions. Um, I give them the benefit of the doubt because they see things I don't see, and I think a lot of people fail to realize that. And hopefully, Trump is making better decisions than he did for his 2026 presidency or 16 presidency. Hopefully, he definitely learned from that. He has proven he has learned something. He's got RFK Jr., he's got Tulsi Gabbard, he's got Vivek, he's got Elon Musk. He's making some pretty good moves, and Elon's gonna be working with Rand Paul. I can't remember which Pauls. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really bad with names. I know they're both great, but I think it's Rand Paul. He's working with Rand Paul to help with Doge. This is all good news for me. Do I think U.S. should completely be free from intervention, like intervening with world conflicts? No, I think we should still maintain a good dominant presence. However, I don't think we should be looking for the next fight as quickly as possible, regardless of the reason for said fight. Before I continue this thought, I'm going to stop this recording because it is about to cut off on its own, and I'm going to finish this thought, give you my final review on the beer, and I'm going to open it up for callers. I'm going to go take a leak real quick, though. And then I'm going to respond to some chats. I see Carrie saying something in chat right now. And then I'm going to wrap it up, read a message that she sent that I appreciate. I want to share with the rest of you all that I read a while ago. And then we will wrap the stream up, this recording up, and then open up the stream for anybody watching that wants to join in on the call. If nobody joins in, we'll just end the stream and we'll wait till I go live for gaming later today. All right, chat. Be right back. I got a leak. Cold. It's cold, puppy. Yes, what you smell that's beer, don't you? I just let my older dog Ed out. He's a rescue. We have to keep him separated from our two younger dogs because he doesn't like our youngest. He has tried to fight her a few times. Let me read through chat. You can't care more about someone than they care for themselves. It will wear you down. Exactly. I watched the show The 100 a long time ago, and I wish I remember who said it, but he basically said you can't help those who are not willing to help themselves, because then that felt great, didn't it? That felt great, didn't it? You smacked your head on the rest. Yeah, you want the butt scratchies. And that's basically what essentially like what you just said, Gary. Is like you can't care for someone that doesn't care for themselves. You really can't, and that's a lot. For I've had a lot of young men recently ask me like, "Conda, what'd you do to find your wife?" Well, first of all, I finally learned to love myself, despite all my flaws. I'm not perfect. I Loving yourself does not mean you don't try to improve yourself. Loving yourself just means you accept who you are, and until you accept who you are, nobody else is going to really truly accept you either. Um, so I'm not talking about this fat is beautiful movement. I'm talking about like it. Like we'll use the fat acceptance as an example. Um, it's realizing that you are overweight, not hating yourself over it, but also understanding you need to do something to correct it, if that makes sense. You know you're overweight. You don't love that you're overweight, but you don't hate yourself for it, but you still know you need to improve on it. So that's exactly it. I'm sorry about the loss of your grandfather. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it. I mean, I also understand very fortunate to be 38 years old and still have a grandfather to speak of. I mean, I lost my grandmother. Was I in my 30s yet? I think I might have just turned 30. I lost my grandmother when I turned 30. I lost my grandfather in 21. So I was 35. I'm sorry, 34. And then I lost his grandfather just before I turned 37. And I know a lot of people, I still have one grandmother left. I know that's rare for somebody my age to be able to say that. I had a great grandmother that was 104 when she passed away. Longevity runs strong in my family, apparently. So, all right. So, everybody watching, I'm about to do my final wrap up of this video, and I'm going to do my outro. And then after the outro, if you have Rumble and a microphone, you can call in through Rumble Studios to that link that just popped up in chat. You'll end up in the waiting room. I'll approve you once I'm done recording. And the only requirements, again, obviously you have to have a mic because obviously you won't be able to talk if you don't have a mic. You don't need a webcam. You have to have a beverage of choice. It does not have to be an adult one. If it is an adult one, be of legal drinking age for your country. If you're not in the U.S., I know some countries have younger drinking ages than the U.S. U.S. will ask you to die at the age of 17, but you cannot have a drop of alcohol until you're 21. Ask me how that makes sense, and I'll tell you I don't know. Um, then the final and the abnormal request, particularly for this stream, you must have at least one thing you're thankful for. Carrie already shared what she's grateful for, and I think it's a very good thing to be thankful for, and I'm very happy for her and her family for that thing. But it doesn't have to be that impactful. Some of that stuff kind of gets too personal, and a lot of people, you don't want a lot of people to know that part of your personal life. You can be as thankful, like I just said, I'm thankful for a truck that I really need to spend that kind of money on, but I'm very grateful for it. You can do something like grateful for, just find something to be thankful for. And the recent years have been very negative since COVID. Find something to be happy and thankful for. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this recording. We're going to move on to there. And then we'll, if nobody's in the waiting room, we'll wrap up the stream. And then you guys will see me again at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is in less than 4 hours. Oh, my wife! I sent my wife a text, and I'll be playing some games with. She's gonna be there for a while. And she's still dealing with the surgeries right now. Um, yeah, and then you'll see me. I was gonna do some once human before I hung out with everybody, but I think I'm gonna chill by the fire, maybe watch a movie while I wait for my wife to get home, and then we'll get on we'll get on whatever game I get the group to finally decide on, or I will decide for them. I might even do once human until somebody finally pops in. Hey, Conda, we're gonna go play this, and I'll go join them from there because I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I just like hanging out with people playing games. Now, admittedly, I've been pushing back on party animals and golf with your friends. Golf with your friends because we have played the shit out of that. I'm ready to try to play something different with the group. I understand it's easy to play because it has a high player count and it's free, or it's not free. It's pretty cheap. A lot of people own it already. And then party animals, I also understand because it's a fun game everybody loves. I absolutely sucks at it. I hate how angry it makes me, so I'm trying not to play it that much. I might be willing to do party animals if anybody from my group is watching right now. I might be willing to do party animals if we do the Mario Kart stuff for the most, like at the beginning of the night, and then you can ease me into the other chaos of party animals. Maybe I'll be buzzed enough that it won't affect me. But all right, so we're gonna go and wrap the stream up or wrap this recording up, and then invite anybody who wants to call in. All right, guys. I realized at the end of that first segment or that last segment, it was getting pretty dark, and it's getting pretty dark now. You got that like black band that keeps running up over my face. I'm not sure if that's because my settings on my camera are off or because this camera has fallen and smacked the driveway pretty good a few times when I've been working on Project Orion, which is coming along very nicely. I got to add one more coat primer, then I'm going to paint it probably a couple times, and then after that, I'm going to start building the frame. And the first thing I'm going to probably put on it, though, is the new axle system. I'm going to do a axle-less suspension system to it to help it when I drive off-road, that it doesn't mess up my telescope equipment inside. High end. Um, and thanks to Purdy Doo for that recommendation. I can't remember what it's made. I think it's Timber something. Timber Allen. It's not Timberland, but Timber Allen. Is Mama home? Or are you just looking through the door because you're looking through the door? What is it, bud? Or are you just looking at your own reflection in the window? You're looking at your own reflection in the window, aren't you? Um. So yeah, that's gonna be probably the first thing I'm gonna attach to it because I want to move the trailer out from the front of the garage so I can move my truck in a better parking spot. It's underneath some trees and birds keep shitting on it, and I want it to stop. Because bird shit, if you guys didn't know, actually eats away at the finish of your paint and can actually ruin your protective coatings on your vehicles pretty quick because it's very acidic. Um, but anyway, sorry, I rambled on. I honestly should have ended with the retirement thing being the biggest thing I'm grateful for because it is the biggest thing I'm grateful for. But I don't, like I said, I don't script this. I just go with the flow and see how I'm feeling. Um, There's another thing I'm grateful for. It's not as big as my retirement. Um, my retirement is definitely the biggest thing I'm grateful for because I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Is Rumble. You guys can call me a cuck. You can call me a dick rider. You can call me whatever the hell you want to call me because I'm actually legitimately thankful for Rumble. Even for despite all its flaws or the fact that it was very political focused for a while, and hopefully it is learning from that and it will branch off from being very political focused. I don't want Rumble to give up on the politics. Rumble was absolutely detrimental to the election cycle for the United States. It absolutely was key. Elon buying X and Rumble doing what Rumble does with Dan Bongino and Crowder and the rest of them, absolutely integral. Now, Scott Presler is the biggest unsung hero of this election, but in the sense of platforms, I mean, because he wouldn't have been able to do what he did if it wasn't for Elon buying X. Him being able to be on X like he was absolutely helped his cause. I wish he got more active in Rumble, but Rumble did make some major waves during the debates and other and electric coverage. Honestly, I think there are a lot of reasons why a lot of election coverage and debate coverage was not taken down on YouTube because YouTube knew that if they took them down, these people were going to go to Rumble. So because of Rumble indirectly forced YouTube to keep these things up. So I'm very grateful for that because if it wasn't for places like Rumble and Elon with X and Scott Presler, we would not have had the outcome to the election like we did. I'm also very grateful for Rumble for what it's done for me personally as a creator. I am not the biggest creator. Up until recently, I averaged probably like 4 or 5 views a stream. Um, it's definitely spiked in recent months, even before Dr. Disrespect took over, or not took over, but it got announced. But Rumble has helped pay off a lot of my debt and fund Project Orion, both of which would not have been possible without. And when I say Rumble, when I talk about Rumble, I talk about those of you who are watching right now who have supported me either with views, likes, and comments, or you've actually subbed or ranted, or even we have Wicca. She is a 3 month supporter on locals. And that's another way you guys can support me if you're maybe bitter about Rumble and you want to give. I mean, uh, give you a little spoiler. Rumble owns locals now, but anyway, if you guys want to support me through locals, that's another place. If you're watching on Twitch and wondering why I have such a high follower count, but I'm not affiliate, I left the affiliate program when Twitch says you're going to have to pay $25 to leave the affiliate program. I was like, fuck that noise. I can see it now. They're going to ban me from the program for one reason or another, and they're going to expect me to pay them for their banning. And also, I think that's some bullshit. People leave programs for their own reasons. Example, I recently rejoined up with, like, officially rejoined up in a regiment. In my heart and mind, I've never left regiment, but I rejoined up in a regiment. I did leave them officially because of the politics. Regiment was getting wrapped up in some, I won't say scandals, but some stuff that was distracting regiment from its actual purpose and goals. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I was very vocal about my politics. I was very vocal about some of my social opinions, and I did not want Regiment to get caught up in that. So I intentionally removed RG from my handle on Twitter, and I intentionally left their Discord on. Yeah, I left the Discord in Regiment. I came back to the Discord about a month or two ago, and I just reapplied to be in Regiment again. But I did it because I didn't want to be one of those guys. Everybody's like yelling at Chris to ban. Not Chris Plabowski, the CEO of Rumble. Chris Entourage on X and one of his gaming handles, and then Discord. Well, I think it's just Chris now on Discord. The CEO and owner of Regiment. He was getting harassed enough for people for other bullshit reasons. I didn't want to add to that. Regiment is for the most part, it doesn't completely remove itself from politics, but is not very political. And I didn't want to hinder their mission and their goals by that. And I also didn't want to silence myself. So I was, people are accusing them of being like these oath breakers. Like Regiment has a different mindset and different set of goals, and I can understand why people like me would hinder that, and I respect that. So I backed down. I recently submitted and got accepted back into Regiment. So I am now officially an RG member. Whether or not I'll add that to my social handles, I don't know yet. It's not anything against Regiment because even though the election cycle is over, the battle's not won yet. So I will definitely be sharing some very unpopular opinions that could get Regiment into trouble. And Regiment, aside from me announcing this now, and never be tied to this channel because this is my very opinionated, political, non-political channel. Gaming, I do get into politics, but it's not the focus. Hobbies, I hardly ever get into politics unless somebody makes a comment that makes me want to make a joke in my chat. So that's where you're going to hear me talk about Regiment a lot more. They get released a new store with some pretty sick looking merch. Unfortunately, I just paid a shit ton of bills. I just had to book a hotel for a wedding. I had to book boarding for my dogs, and I also had to get some Christmas gifts that I haven't bought for family yet. So them dropping their new merch didn't really wasn't very well timed for me specifically because I don't have the money to go pick it up right now. I do, but again, I'm trying not to get to the point, constantly be at the point where I'm living uncomfortably from paycheck to paycheck. So I could buy it. It just means I'll be tight on a lot of other things if I did buy it. But anyway, they dropped some sick looking merch, and I was like, this is time for me to come back. Politics they're not. I don't want them to ever die out because they need to be forefront in a lot of people's minds. Otherwise, we're going to go right back to where we were. Um, but I'm at a point where I'm not so belligerent about it, I guess, that it could affect Regiment. But anyway, I'm very grateful for Rumble. I really went on a big tangent there. Very grateful for Rumble because of the opportunities they provided. There's Phase 2 creator program, the growth I've had, the friends I've made, Noobs a Lot, Beers, American Ultra, Blues Nut, Amish Zaku, JFG. Like these guys they are legitimate friends of mine. Gaming chat. Like these are people I'm really good friends with. Purdy do. Um, I I met three of them so far. I would absolutely love to meet the rest of them. One of them I pretty much all but met. I just haven't met him in person. That's American Ultra. So if it wasn't for Rumble, I wouldn't have met these guys. And they're fantastic guys. Great character, great morals. They believe even if like Amasaku, and I'm not saying this to be mean or pick on him. Amasaku, uh, I'm trying to think of how to word this. I don't disagree what he believes in, and I don't necessarily disagree his. I don't know how to word it. I understand. I respect him. I guess is the best way to put it. I respect him, and I don't think he's wrong at all about things he believes in. And he's a good friend of mine. I wouldn't mind meeting him someday. I mean, I don't know what he looks like. He's a VTuber, which is fine. I don't have a problem with VTubers, but JFG, don't know what he looks like either. Um, JFG's mentioned wanting to get some whiskey together sometime. He wants me to have some pot with him too. Can't do that yet, JFG. If you're watching, I have to wait until I'm officially retired. Even if it becomes legal in the state I live in, I can't do it because they do randomly drug test me, and I do go to prison, and I have to pay a shit ton of money to the federal government if I get caught doing it. So I rather not do either of those things. So you're gonna have to wait till I at least retire. Probably because I just mentioned this on stream, I'm gonna have to get piss tested next week. So thanks. I guess I can't thank him for that. He didn't make me say that. But yeah, and I'm very grateful for Chris and Rick specifically. The motivation and drive between those two. Mario has good drive too. He just more keeps. Yeah, I mean, he's been more vocal about it recently, or at least I'm seeing it more on X because X is allowing me to see it more. But I know Chris and Rick have been very vocal about their support and love for Rumble and the direction it's going for. And I'm really thankful and grateful for the two of them. And for Mario, Vent, Vent isn't. I don't think a lot. I think a lot of people know about Vent. I don't know how many know that Vent works for Rumble, and that may be intentional. And Vent, if I just let the cat out of the bag, sorry. Um, I don't. I know I have not been featured since May. And a lot of people are like, see, Rumble doesn't care about you. They don't care about small creators. I don't want them to feature me because it's going to help me drive the point home further. I got successful without Rumble. When Rumble featured me, I didn't do that great. And I'm doing better now that they're not featuring me. And it's nothing against Rumble. It's to prove the point that the work I'm doing to improve myself is because nobody's featured me. It has made me strive to work harder to better myself. If I was featured all the time, I would start getting complacent because somebody else was doing the work for me. That's the point I'm trying to drive home. Now, am I going to be grateful I get featured again someday? You absolutely will. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun to get a lot of new people in the stream because I got featured. And the energy is fantastic when it happens. But I don't expect or want Rumble to do it because if Rumble does it, it actually negates my argument when they feature me because it's like, oh, look, Conda sucked up enough dick to Rumble that they featured him today. No, I'd rather they never feature me again because I can rub it in all you haters' faces to show that I got this successful without Rumble put me forward every fucking time I'm live. And it makes me feel so good to be able to say that. And I wouldn't be able to say that if I was featured as much as Lumpy, if I was featured as much as Uncle Pudge, or in Silver Fox or any of them. It's not hating on them. It's to prove a point that me saying what I'm saying, I will speak out against Rumble when I think about like when Chris was saying that people thinking that why are people sleeping on Rumble and thinking you have to multi-stream or stream on YouTube to be able to be successful. It's because Chris, you need to get your priorities more straight. Dan Bongino can't be your GOAT all the time because people are going to be like, oh, got it. I can only be successful from political, specifically right leaning political. If you start showing that you can be successful outside of that, people are going to sleep less on Rumble. And I think Chris is realizing it. And maybe he's realized it for a while, but now he's finally acting on it. Chris Plavosky, by the way, not Chris Entourage from Regiment. Now that I got that in, it's like the Chris's of Hollywood. You got Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, too many Chris, and Chris Pine. Too many Chris's. Too many Chris's. But I hope uh, nobody takes myself as a very negative. I mean, I'm a very negative person. I'm absolutely a very negative person, especially when it comes to myself. I actually foresee myself eventually having to give up content creation probably in the next 3 or 4 years, just because it's not going to be viable, and because I don't want it to dominate. If it's not generating me the revenue, I don't want it to dominate my life to the point where I'm neglecting like my house. This deck isn't fully stained yet. I still got to do the railings and the support beams and the underside of the deck. The backside of the house needs to be refinished, and it should have been refinished years ago. My yard doesn't need to be neglected. I want to build a garden. I want to build a chicken coop, and I'm not going to be able to do that if I'm constantly creating content. So if content isn't becoming beneficial, I'm eventually going to have to call it quits. It's just the nature of the beast, and there's nothing negative against Rumble or anybody else. It's just life. That's what life does. I have priorities. If I can't meet those priorities, I have to start taking cuts. And content creation may be doing that. And who knows? It may be maybe 50 years from now. It may be 3 years from now. I don't know. Who knows? That's why I say don't put all your eggs in one basket. Leave your options open, but always strive for greatness and success. But that's going to wrap it up for what I covered. What things I'm grateful for. Getting the assignment here, retirement, paying off a lot of the debt I have been in. Did I say that? Paying off a lot of the debt I was able to pay because I saw the economy going the way it was going, and I focused really hard at paying off my debt, which led me to be able to buy the truck I was able to buy for the rate I wanted, by the way. Not the shitty rates they've been offering lately. Um, I'm now officially retired. I'm grateful for Rumble. I'm incredibly grateful for the election and how it turned out. Oh, I think that's I'm always thankful for my family, my wife, my brother, my sister, my mom and dad, my nephews, my niece, my new niece, my brand new niece. That's another thing I'm grateful for this year. She was born. Oh, I'm absolutely horrible with birthdays, but she was born this year. I want to say she was born in June. 'Cause I think I remember being very proud that I have one of my family members that were born the same month I'm born. That was close to it. It might have been May. I don't remember. But I'm very happy to have my new niece in my life. I'm very happy for the family I have, the wife I married, the home I'm in, the God I have. that I wish other people would know as well. Um, I'm thankful for the friends I made both in and out of Rumble, and I thank for the opportunities that Rumble has given me to make those friends. Even if I never make another dime on Rumble again, these friends I made are friends I think I'm going to be a part of for life. And I'm very grateful. I know that I don't talk to them as much as they would, some of them would like, and as much as I would like, but they're still very much appreciated. If they're listening, I hope they know that. Blues Nut, Noobs, Beers, Ultra, Sophomore John, definitely. I look forward to meeting you someday, man. Really do. I know I've made you some promises I have not done very well at keeping. I promise you they're still there. They may not come for a while, but I promise you it's going to come. I'm going to get it to you, man. I respect you a lot. Sophomore and I have had a lot of conversations on the offline, and I have a lot of respect for that, man. Um, hey, buddy. Amasaku, KFG, if you're all watching out there, if you end up seeing this by some chance, I know it's the day after Thanksgiving a lot. I mean, JFG, you're Canadian, you're a heathen, you don't believe in Thanksgiving. I'm joking. But I'm very grateful for all you all out there. And look forward for Purdy. Absolutely Purdy. He's been invaluable for the input I've had for the Project Orion. Did Mama just get home, bud? I think Mama just got home. She said 8, but it's 6:30. Or are you just being you? What you doing, buddy? What you doing, buddy? This is Mama's boy. That's why I keep thinking Mama's home. When he runs up to that door and stares at it, I think Mama's gotten home. But since he's here for butt scratches, she's not home. He just heard something he's curious about. Oh, but that's it. That's all I'm grateful for. I mean, it's not all. There's a lot more. I could probably ramble on for another hour or so. And this, I think it's way too much at this point. I think this is gonna be the first. Let's grab a beer for the pod. I'll have timestamps in the description. I just gotta remember how to do it. Rumble does allow timestamps in the description. I just don't remember how. I know a back way. It's not as clean and efficient as how YouTube does it, but I know Rumble also offers that method. I just forgot how to do it. So, because this is the first time even the recordings have been broken up specifically per segment, so it's gonna be pretty easy for me to make timestamps. So if you guys are here for a particular reason, you can jump right to that. You don't have to watch the entire stream. I appreciate those who do watch the entire stream. It's very supportive. Even if all you can afford is a comment and your time, time is the most valuable commodity in anybody's life. So if you can offer me your time, I'm very grateful for that as well. But that's it for me. I'm going to wrap up this recording. We got one can of beer left. Again, I slowed down because I actually started rambling a lot and I wanted to have coherent thoughts. I think this is probably one of the most important Let's Grab a Beers I've run in my life. So I'm going to give my final thoughts. I know it's cold, bud. That's what you want. You want to go inside because it's cold. That's okay. Dad's going to get a fire going once we get in there. Um, Final thoughts on the topics because we always do a recap. The small creators program, the poll went exactly the way I thought it would be. I figured the 500 to 1,000 would be the one that would win. It did by a decent margin. I mean, only 97 votes. I'm no Elon Musk where I'm going to get millions of votes. I personally think if Chris does, I think a happy medium between the comments and the votes, I think a happy medium is probably a good 2,500. I think anybody below 2,500 for Rumble specifically is a good small creator margin because Rumble does not have the numbers like YouTube specifically does. And I think he should do tiers based on your growth because eventually, if you get above that margin, should be considered for another program because obviously you're doing the work and you should be rewarded for that. Now, people got to keep in mind that Rumble is a business and they got to make sure they don't do anything that's going to bankrupt them. So they can't just be giving out money for the sake of giving out money because that's what the masses demand. And you shouldn't be looking for handouts either. You should be doing the work because you believe in the work that you do, not because you think you can get paid for it. You got to believe in yourself and your work. It's much like dating. In my opinion, succeeding in content creation specifically, it's much like dating. If you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in your work, you're not happy with yourself and your work, nobody else is going to be. So you should not be looking for handouts. Handouts get you STDs, unwanted pregnancies, and miserable marriages. So make sure you do what you believe in. I believe in what I'm doing. I'm believing it more now than ever. Will I be as big as Dr. Disrespect someday? No, absolutely will not. I doubt it. Do I think it's possible? It is possible. Everything's possible if you're willing to put the work for it. But I'm not going to be successful if Rumble gives me hands out all the time because I'm going to get complacent. What does the saying say? We bad times create what strong men make weak times make weak men, or good times make weak men. Same things. Rumbles constantly giving you money and you're not doing any of the work, you're gonna suck. You're gonna fall off, and then you're gonna get depressed. You're gonna get what's called creators burnout, and you're gonna give up on yourself because you're not gonna see the growth you think you were supposed to be seeing because you didn't put in the effort to do it. What's up, Vet Gaming? How you doing, my man? Um, so yeah, you guys got to be willing to put in the work if you want to make successful. Your content creation is it for if you're doing it for money, do the work. I'm doing it for my own personal morals and beliefs. Money is nice. I definitely don't get me wrong. The money is definitely encouraging for me to keep doing it, but it's not. Full disclosure: the last payout I got from Rumble, which I'm well aware is probably more than most people, was $130. Actually, I think it was less than that. Can't remember how much it was. It was in the 130 range. Um, that's not enough to live off of. So if you guys are doing it for the money, better damn well believe in the work you do and put in the effort to let the rest of the world believe in the work you do. Rumble is not going to get you there. They can feature you. I said this last episode 18. They can feature you 30 times for 30 days, and you only gain 30 followers, and that will be it. And those 30 followers will never watch you again after the day they follow you. I promise you that. And that's talking from experience. 197 views off of my first feature, 70 followers, maybe actually one of them, only one of those followers from that feature, American Ultra, is watching me. I still talk to one of them. He doesn't watch me as much, mainly because he's being a man, taking care of him and his family. Congratulations to the GG and GE for your brand new crap. I feel bad now. The brand new child, the brand new baby that was born on Thanksgiving Day. Congratulations to you both. I know GE did a gender reveal a while ago. I actually was not a part of that gender reveal because I was busy with my life as well. But I respect both of them. And GG Gamer, GE was one of the first people to actually, I think, believe is either GE or Battleroid that told me I was being featured. Um, but he and American Ultra are the only two OGs from when I was featured that I'm still talking to. Battleroid, I see. I just don't interact with him as much. He was there for the feature as well. So, yeah, if you guys aren't doing the work, you can get featured. You get 200, almost 200,000 views in your feature, and you're still gonna do shit because your content is shit. And I know that's very meaning and degrading to hear, but it's the truth. Find out how to make yourself stand out from the rest. Content creation is oversaturated. A lot like a lot of these college degrees that people are going for. They're oversaturated. So these people with these $100,000 degrees are working minimum wage jobs because their career field's oversaturated. So you got to make your content stand out if you're looking to make a living from it. Me, I did try for the money, got stressed, realized I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Friends I'm making, being able getting some therapy from it, being able to talk to a camera, venting my opinions, whether people listen to it or not. I just get things off my chest. It's helping me out quite a bit. I made some really good friends along the way, which is more valuable than any money I can ever be given. Um, Pet Gaming is one of the newer friends that I'm starting to make along the way, so I'm glad to see him back in here. So yeah, I really hope ultimate success for the small creative program that Chris is doing, and anybody that enrolls in it. Um, just don't rely on it as your golden ticket. Yes, use it as a tool for you to become successful, but don't use it as a crutch. I think it's the best way to say that. Don't use anything opportunity you're given as a tool. Never use it as a crutch. If you use it as a crutch, you're gonna find out you have two broken legs and you're not going anywhere. Um, And Dr. Disrespect, ultimately, I think overall a positive, net positive for Rumble, especially if they manage it well. And I think Chris is going to manage it well, him and his staff. I think they actually got a good game plan for this one. I'm very confident in it. We won't fully know the full effect of the Dr. Disrespect merger for, I think, at least minimum of 6 months. We're not going to finally see like the full for us down here at the bottom. Chris would probably know long before us because he can see all the numbers on average and the earnings and stuff like that. But for us little people that don't get to manage that stuff or look at that stuff that often, we probably won't really fully notice the effect for another, excuse me, 6 months. And look, sorry, we're a lot of us are in the Burger King generation where we want it now and we want it in our way. Ain't gonna happen. You gotta be patient. You gotta wait for it to happen as it should happen naturally, not the way you want it to happen. And the final thing, what are you thankful for? I told you what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the job I was given to be able to retire here. I was thankful for the opportunity that Rumble has provided me. I was thankful for the opportunity they were able to get me where I am financially with my debt, uh, and the friends that I've made, and what I've been able to accomplish with Project Orion. And I'm thankful for the weight I've been able to lose when I finally got my life on track and taking care of myself. And I'm very thankful for the truck I was able to buy in the time when my vehicle seems to be on its last limbs. And I'm very thankful for the fact that I'm able to officially see the light at the end of the tunnel. I have orders on my desk telling me that I have been officially relieved of duty as of October 30th, or 31st, sorry, October 31st, 2025. I will no longer be Sergeant Araconda. I'll be Mr. Araconda. Very thankful for the way the election went. And I am very, very thankful for the family and the friends I have that I would not have in any other life that I've been made. And I hope you guys are inspired to think of the things you're thankful for. I know there's a lot to be negative about, but there's also a lot more you can be thankful for. Or you just got to be able to focus on that stuff. So I'm about to open up this stream up to anybody in chat that wants to call. We're not going to be able to talk very long. It is 6:40. I should be going live around 10 p.m. my time, which is Eastern Standard Time, to do some gaming with some friends. I want to take a little break between now and then, so if you do call in, we won't be able to talk very long. So we'll probably focus on what you're thankful for, maybe any self promotions you want to do. But other than that, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next stream. And hopefully, we can both grab a beer together. All right, chat. That's the end of the recording. Vet, I see you here. Are you itching to call in? What's the verdict? Are you trying to call in as well? I need to turn off that ticker real quick. I gotta go take a leak. All right, anybody else in chat that is still hanging out with me and may or may not want to call in, your content is not shit. Your content is phenomenal, but you should never say your content is perfect. Your content should always need improvement. Look at Dr. Disrespect. Look at Dr. Disrespect when he started. Look where he's at now. Look at his production quality. Now, obviously, he has a team behind him now, but he's always striving to improve. Again, remove him from the controversy. Remove him from whatever you don't like about him. Look at his production quality. Look at him when he started to look at him to where he is now. He has always constantly strived to improve his quality of his content. And if you're not willing to do that, you are not going to succeed. And I don't care how often Rumble features you. I don't care how much money Rumble pays you. And honestly, I hope Rumble never pays you a dime, because if you're not willing to do the work, you're not worth Rumble's time and investment. You're the person that's, the moment the program is over or you get from the program, you're gonna run off to the next biggest cash grab. What is it? There was Party PRTI is offering $1,000 for small creators. You're gonna run off to them, get your $1,000. When that runs out and you realize you're not growing there anymore, you're gonna run off to the next big cash grab because you have no morals or values and your content sucks. Not talking about you, Vet. I'm talking about everybody else. There's a lot of you out there. And I think Chris is finally waking up to that. Both in the big creator and small creator world. There's a lot more in the small creator world. You're like, Rumble doesn't care about the small creator. You're probably the small creator that's just doing quick cash grabs. You're trying to do your pyramid schemes. All right, I gotta take a leak. I'm gonna drop this link in chat. All you have to have is a Rumble account. If you don't have one, go ahead and start making one now. I think the link will force you to make one if you click it. And all you have to have is a mic. My requirements: have a beverage of choice. Does not have to be adult. If it's adult, be in line with the laws of your country for adult beverages. Um, and have one thing to be thankful for. One. I don't care how big or small it is. One thing to be thankful. Oh, Carrie, I forgot to read off your thing on the recording. I'll plug that in somehow. Before I end the stream, I'll read your comment, make my mark, and I'll like piece it in at the end of the recording because that was a pretty good thing to be thankful for, Carrie. In fact, you're thankful. Your thing you were Carrie thankful for is probably one of the best things to be thankful for. All right, I gotta go take a leak. If nobody's in the waiting room when I get back, we'll go do the outro for the stream. I'm gonna go inside with my dog, and I'm gonna start a fire, drink some more of this. Oh no! Hold on. All right, we'll do this real quick. All right, guys, out of cycle, random insert of clip cut. I forgot to give my overall review of the beer. Pontoon Brewing. If you end up watching the stream somehow, I apologize that I did not treat you well and I did not appropriately review your beer. I got way too caught up in my little rants I was doing, and I also forgot to read off. So I'm going to do this Pontoon, if you don't mind, in the very random off chance that you're watching this. I'm going to read off one of the things my chatters was thankful for. I think it was one of the best things to be thankful for. And then I'm going to give you guys my opinion of this beer. And then I got to wrap up this video. Sorry. Yeah, downside, it's not you guys. Downside of beer, it's making me congested lately. I think I've developed an allergy to beer in general. But so Carrie, 1964, or it's 1964 Carrie on Rumble. She sent me a message to say what she was thankful for. I don't know if she's still here watching. She says, I'm thankful for my husband's continued good health after a year of chemo, 2 surgeries, and 9 months living on the mainland for treatment and finally coming home with us. So Carrie lives in Hawaii. Her husband apparently had, I'm assuming, probably California, because from what I understand, when anybody goes mainland from Hawaii, it's for to go to California. But she can correct me if I'm wrong. Her husband had, I'm gonna assume, since she said chemo, uh, he had cancer, unfortunately. Luckily, it sounds like he's in remission. He's doing well. He's recovering, and he's now, after 9 months, back home with his family. And praise God, that is an excellent thing to be thankful for. And the reason why I wanted to read her message specifically, because one, she's obviously not going to call in, and two, it is a fantastic thing to be thankful for. But I don't want to discourage you guys to be thankful for whatever you're thankful for. I don't care how big or small it is. If you're remember as a kid, I was thankful for the Red Sox winning the. Well, I guess that's adults are thankful for the Red Sox winning the World Series back in 2005, 2004, 2005. But the point is, no matter how big or small it is, I want you guys to tell me what you're thankful for. But I wanted to highlight what Carrie is thankful for because it's a pretty big deal to be thankful for, and I'm very glad she's back home with, or her husband's back home with her, and he's doing well. Yeah, I probably should just call you Carrie. She's talking to chat now. City of Hope in California. That's it's a beautiful place for him to recover, Carrie. I like that city. I don't like California. The City of Hope, love that. Um, and for to switch gears really quickly because I had to really take a leak. My dog wants to go inside because it's cold, and my wife might have gotten home. 6:47. Pontoon Brewing. I know you're in Georgia. I didn't exactly look up the address you guys are looking for, but if you go to look up Pontoon Brewing Company on Google, it'll take you straight to their website. And this is one of their beers. You can't really see it because of the lighting. But we're going to need a bigger Pontoon Hazy IPA. Those are watching on stream, you can see better because the camera's more automatic about it. It's got an otter on it. It's part of the reason why I grabbed it, because of the Freedom Otter Show and the Great Ottoman Empire. I give your beer, actually, I'm not a big IPA fan, despite how congested it makes me, but that's not your fault. That's my body's fault. I give it a 5 out of 6. It's actually very refreshing. It's got a good taste. There's no bitter and nasty aftertaste. And I can see me drinking this on some good barbecue with some good barbecue. I prefer it would have been warmer when I was drinking this, because I think it would have been very refreshing. But it's like 30 degrees right now, so it's not as refreshing. But that's, again, not your fault. That is my fault. But anyway, guys, second outro for this video. I appreciate all of being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And hopefully, we can grab a beer. I'm leaving both outros in the video, by the way. I told you, I don't edit my shit. All right, bye. All right, City of Hope. Can you call me Carrie? Can't call me Carrie. Can't call me. It's okay. All right, I gotta go take a leak, chat. I really, really, really need to take a leak. And if nobody's in the calls, I would go ahead and wrap up the stream, and I'll see you guys. Look over. I'll drop the link to the channel that I want you. I don't care what platform you're on. If you're on any other platform, I really want you on Rumble. If you don't want to go to Rumble, that's fine, but it puts you at risk of not catching the gaming stream later tonight. So I'll be right back. Ed, you want to go outside? I know you got a cold tolerance of like 1. Hi, Hughes. Come here, buddy. Hi, handsome boy. Hey, baby girl. All right, chat. I got my other 2 dogs out. Bella, come here. This is Bella girl. She's daddy's little girl. Aren't you, baby girl? Aren't you? I know. And Zeus. Zeus, come here. Come here, Zeus. Zeus is more cautious about what he's doing. Come here. Come on. Come on. This is Zeus. He doesn't jump up like Bella does. Oh my goodness. This is my middle-aged dog, our middle dog. The Bella, the one you saw earlier, was my youngest, and my oldest was Ed, who was out here for most of the stream tonight. All right, let's see. I don't think I got anybody in the waiting room, which is perfectly fine. I'll give you guys a few minutes. I'm going to drop the links in chat one more time. I honestly, more than okay if you guys don't join up, because it's getting cold. I want to get a fire going and finish this last beer by the fire. All right. I was able to find one of the few houses in all of Georgia, in middle to South Georgia, that has a actual legit fireplace. A lot of them had like the fake ones that have like plastic wood with propane running it. In fact, my wife is on her way home right now. Why is my? Oh, I think my phone's acting up. I think my phone was so cold that it won't work. It's another thing you guys don't have to worry about. I am never going to be afraid to mention that I'm married. By the way, ring on my finger. Sometimes I forget just because I take it off when I'm doing like yard work or doing dishes. I don't want to damage it. I've already destroyed staffies. Yes, Bella is a staffy. Zeus, I have no clue what Bella Zeus is. We when he was a puppy, he looked like a blue nosed pitty. He had the. Hold on, chat. Hey, babe. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have a fire going by the time you get home. Okay, so it's nice and toasty. It's a little chilly. I don't know if you realize that. You probably would. Woo! All right, babe. Well, I'll see you shortly. I'll get that fire going, and we'll just relax for a bit. Okay? You want me to heat you up some Thanksgiving food, or you want to eat something else? Okay. I got Boop and Zeus on the deck with me right now, so I'll be in it shortly. Okay? Love you, sweetie. Be safe. Bye. All right, my wife is on her way home right now. Oh, I'm scratching my neck. It's making lumpies. But yeah, Bella's definitely a staffy. For sure. Zeus, he looked like a blue nose pitty when he was younger. He had the blue eyes, he had the fur that was matching like a blue nose. He had the face of a blue nose, the fur of a blue nose, and then he got older and he's got a longer nose. He's got like shepherd ears. He's got a very sleek and slender, very athletic bird dog style body. Yeah, and like his fur right here is very rough and coarse, like from the back of his head to like his shoulder blades, and then the rest of it is like average dog hair fur, and then his butt is like this, like his ears actually like your silky smooth fur. We have no clue what he is. He was found by a dumpster at 8 weeks old or less, and we adopted him. Ed was a owner forfeit because of neglect and abuse at 6 years old, and he was when I picked him up 2 days away from being euthanized because nobody was adopting him. And Bella was found by a Jeep friend. Said she was seen playing with the neighborhood kids with no collar or nothing. Nobody claimed her, so they took her in. And I initially, so we got Ed for my wife's parents, but we found out Ed was actually pretty aggressive towards other dogs. So we couldn't mainly. So he wasn't aggressive towards Zeus. I had another dog before Zeus and Ed named Maverick. Maverick was a very alpha style dog, but Maverick only got aggressive to a dog that was aggressive towards him first or got near his food. So I learned very quickly to keep my Maverick's food away from other dogs. But Ed would challenge Maverick, and Maverick did not back down, and Maverick attacked Ed, or vice versa. I don't remember who attacked who first. Excuse me, but Maverick would not back down. Zeus, whenever the other older dogs would growl at him, because both Maverick and Ed are older than Zeus, Zeus would back down and not fight at all. Unless once the fight started, he would defend the person that was being attacked. So whatever dog started the fight, Zeus would attack that dog. The dog that was being on the defense, Zeus would protect that dog. Zeus is our peacekeeper. Like something about Zeus, he's the peacekeeper. And then after the fight is over, he's worried about both dogs. Like he's whining if he can't be near those two dogs. Bella is a or spaz brain that just loves everything and everybody. And Ed attacked her. We don't know why he attacked her. Bella would try to run from Ed, and Ed would chase her down. So we're like, all right, Ed cannot be near Bella at all. All right, let me go light this fire real quick. What's up, Dual Helix? Surfing through Rumble, finding cool new people. I appreciate you coming here. I thought you were talking about Zeus, the god. Is he a dog? I do have a dog named Zeus, yes, and he is named after the god. That is correct. Hold on, Helix. I'm gonna go light the fire for my wife before she gets home, and then I will continue this conversation with the rest of you. I'm back. Zeus, come here. Somebody wants to see you. Come here. Oh, this is baby girl. This is Bella. This is Bella girl. Zeus, come here. No, Bella knows I'm calling Zeus. She gets very jealous. She does not like it when Dad gives other dogs attention. She doesn't attack them. She just pushes them away. So I give her the attention directly or indirectly. Super chill. No worries. Then you fit in perfect for this, Helix. Welcome, by the way. This is Let's Grab a Beer. You actually caught the tail end of this. Uh, I'm glad you're here. Normally, I open up to. Yeah, the fire started. I got the smoke coming out of the chimney. And I can smell it. Normally, I invite my viewers to call in, but my wife is about to be home. I got to get these dogs out of the freezing cold. They're both very scrawny dogs, and they have no meat on their bones. So they get very cold pretty easy. I'm not saying scrawny as in like they're underfed. Scrawny as in they're very lean dogs, so they get cold pretty easy. So I'm gonna have to get them to the house pretty quick, and I gotta get the house situation before my wife gets home. But Helix, if you want to check me out, in fact, let me do this for everybody in chat right now. I'm gonna go live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what I'm playing yet because I'm waiting for the guys to discuss what we're gonna be playing. But I'm gonna be live at around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because it depends how long it takes them to discuss it. On this channel, playing some games, having some drinks, chilling with everybody, making some jokes, having a great time. I carry him up and down this. Oh, that's Zeus and Bella are attacking each other. Aloha, says Carrie. Oh, you do? Yeah. So Maverick was a red nose pit. Zeus, like I said, we have no clue what Zeus is. He's a dog. He's got that going for him. He's a dog. He's a little smaller than Bella, not much smaller. Bella's the Staffy. Ed is he's a Dogo Argentino. Um, he's 19 years old. My dog passed away just before he turned 9 because of prostate cancer. I think is what he got him. But that's awesome. Your dog is 19 years old. I carry him up and down. That's what I plan to do with my dogs. They'll be I will carry them things up and down the stairs as long as they're happy every other way. Those dogs will be with me as long as possible. Thank you for the follow, Helix. I really do appreciate it. I've been doing streams from microscope camera. What are you streaming from the microscope camera? Do they have sweaters? They do not have sweaters. I'm actually surprised. My wife likes kitting out our dogs and random accessories. I'm surprised she didn't have them in sweaters. She does have scarves for them though. I'll check you out, Helix, for sure. What do you stream or do you upload? And if you no matter what you do, what do you do instead of stream or upload? My wife must have just got home. I think the fire's going. Let me make sure it's not burning my house down real quick. I'll be right back. Hold on, Pops. Excuse me, Bella. I build, repair, destroy watches. Actually, that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Helix, real quick. When people tell me you should give me a follow or check me out or follow me, feel free to follow me or anything like that. I almost always don't because they usually just come in chat, say follow me, and then they leave. But the build, destroy, and repair watches that actually sounds really cool, especially excuse me under microscope. So I'll definitely check that out. I'm still learning. Those are the best streams though. Those are, in my opinion, those are the best streams. Expert streams are great if you're trying to learn how to do something, but the I'm learning as I'm going streams are more entertaining. Bella, Zeus, Bella, Bella, come here. Bella, come here. Bella, come here. Come on. She's playing rough with Zeus right now, and I want her to stop. Hey, you need to stop. You need to stop. You're gonna hurt him. You already made him have a limp. I love you too. I love you too. She knows Dad can only be mad for so long before he loves on her again. Is Mama home, Zeus? No, Ed's not off the couch. Mama's not home yet. Zeus, come here. Zeus, Bella, come here, Zeus. You're not Zeus. You're Bella. Zeus is to my left right now. I don't know if you can see his head behind me back there. Bulldog mentality, absolutely. My daughter buys them for her pitties, also named Bella. Oh, my wife picked Bella. I can't remember what the name. I picked the name for Bella when we got her. My wife liked it. She goes, "But can we do Bella instead?" I knew that as Coda's. I like your name, but so I went with Bella. She's named Zeus and Bella. I wanted to name Zeus Goose because Maverick. So I got adopted Maverick from a Navy family that had to go to New York, and he wasn't going to be allowed where they were going. So they're going to either have to put him in a shelter in Florida or hope somebody adopt him. I adopted him, and I wasn't going to change his name Maverick. So it's like, oh, perfect. We got another dog at the time we thought was a pit bull, a blue nose pit. We had a red nose pit and a blue nose pit. I was like, Maverick and Goose, perfect. But my wife really wanted a blue nose, so I was like, look, it's a blue nose puppy. We thought at the time. Even the vet said he was a blue nose. Um, I'll let you pick his name. She picked Zeus, but I call him Zeus Goose because it still gives me that satisfaction that he's Goose and Maverick. Yep, max everything. Mav and Goose. Exactly. That's what I was going for, Helix. But my wife, Zeus was my wife's dog. I got him for her, and so I couldn't tell her like, no, you got to name him Goose. She wanted Zeus, and that's what we went with. Zeus is our turd. He actually has no favorites. He loves whoever plays with him. That's who he loves. Bella loves me. Edgar, we call him Ed, or Ed, or Potato. I call him Potato because he's white like a inside of a potato, rolls himself in dirt like a potato, and he's about as smart as a potato. He's her dog, like through and through. That's her dog. But all right, guys. Helix, I'm really glad you came by. I'm sorry I got to cut this short. Um, I have plans too. I watch him build it. The watch I'm building has an airplane seconds hand. That's awesome. Do you have videos about that watch yet, or are you still working on that video? There's something blinking behind me. Oh, that's Jupiter. So it's blinking because I don't know if you guys see. Hold on, let me there. That blinky light behind me, that's Jupiter, and it's blinking because my tree branches are waving in front of it. 5 hours yesterday. I'll definitely check that out, Helix. I won't check it out tonight. I'm gonna be honest. I'll check it out tomorrow though, for sure. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. Carrie, Helix, Vet, thank you so much for popping in chat tonight. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Carrie, I'm very thankful and praise God that your husband's home with you now and he's recovering and things are going well for him after surgery and chemo. Yeah, check the vid through it. Will do, Helix. Zeus. Um, um, and then everybody else that's watching, I really appreciate you guys being here. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next stream. Thank you so much. And again, go to Aircon TV Hobbies Gaming. Sorry, and drop me a follow because at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be playing a game with a bunch of drunken idiots, but they're my drunken idiots on that channel. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. I appreciate you all.